I'm Christine Lisi with what you need to know. Sources tell ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski the Nets and Kevin Durant are having ongoing conversations about the direction of the franchise in the aftermath of the Kyrie Irving trade to the Mavericks. So far, the Nets have told inquiring teams they are not planning on trading Durant before Thursday's trade deadline. LeBron James' pursuit of NBA history continues tonight when he and the Lakers host the Thunder. James is 36 points away from passing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for the all-time scoring record. Lakers point guard Dennis Schroeder telling ESPN Radio, "It's been a privilege to watch this chase up close."
It's history, to be a part of it. I'm very honored and very proud that I'm here. He's an incredible person, incredible individual who works hard, and embraces every moment. So to be with him here every step of the way is great.
LA point guard Dennis Schroeder. You can hear more tonight on LeBron and the Lakers-Thunder matchup on the NBA on ESPN Radio, 9:30 Eastern. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports the 49ers hiring former Panthers interim coach Steve Wilks as their new defensive coordinator.
Coming up Wednesday, Super Bowl 57 is on the horizon. What are the biggest storylines you should be paying attention to? I'll tell you. Wednesday, Keyshawn, J. Willem X, 6 a.m. Eastern, ESPN Radio, ESPN2, ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
And off we go. Welcome aboard AFR. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
You so. And Mr. Toby Tom Play. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. A graph in about 15 minutes. Pell's back on the floor tonight. Feinswog talking some beer next hour. Uncle Larry will visit with us here in hour number 3. I didn't have this on the rundown until hour number 3, but you know what? I'm going to start with it. My goodness, 13 years ago today, a memory that none of us will ever soon forget. This is how it sounded with the great Jim Henderson on the call.
Manning in the shotgun, puts Collie in motion, looks in his direction, and it's picked off! It's picked off! It's Tracy Porter again! He's running free! He's going to go all the way! Hand out stretch! It is a Saint touchdown! 70 yards on the return! 70 yards on the return by Porter! He did it to Favre, and now he's done it to Manning!
I know a couple of weeks ago, of course, we played Garrett Hartley's kick, and the pigs have flown. Call from Jim Henderson. Just absolutely sensational. 13 years ago today, Tracy Porter picks off Peyton Manning, the New Orleans Saints, Super Bowl 44 champions. You will always remember where you were when type moment. Every time I watch it, every time I think about it, it just brings a gigantic smile to my face, as I'm sure it does to many of you. And my hope is that the New Orleans Saints go on in their history to win many, many more championships, and that I'm certain at some point they will, because this team broke the seal and proved that it can be done, and something that has been done once before can most certainly be done again. While it may not feel like it's super close, that's irrelevant. But whatever does happen in the future with the New Orleans Saints, and if and when they are ever able to climb that mountain again, I'm not sure it'll ever feel quite like this one. I did ask earlier today for people on Twitter to share stories, memories from Super Bowl 44. Where were you? Where did you watch? Who were you with? What are your memories? And I'd love to get some of those on air today. So you can tweet me, you can email me, you could jump at the Bayou Ford YouTube chat, you could text 225-396-4400, 396-4400. I was at my parents' house. I knew that I'd be watching it with my folks. And so I went to my parents' house, watched with my mom and dad. And oddly enough, our good friend Richard Condon and his son Ryan came over as well. So we all watched the game together. And by the time Tracy Porter picked off that football and was running free. I think I was about halfway around the house, yelling "Hoot at" the top of my lungs, literally running a lap around the house. So just a great time, great day, great memories, and hopefully you share a lot of those. So 13 years ago today, the New Orleans Saints Super Bowl 44 champs. Where were you? Let me know. Would love to hear some stories, and we'll tell the best ones on the air today. All right. We will talk a little bit more about the future of the Saints organization next hour as Sean Payton continues to try to poach and pillage assistance from this New Orleans Saints staff. So we will we'll get to some of that here throughout the course of the show today. On the show Monday, we talked about how we have had very few opportunities the past couple of weeks to talk LSU football. Signing day was last week, but it was quiet. It was the first time ever that LSU did not sign a player in the traditional February signing period. And, I think it's one of those things that college football is going to have to address, ways that they can maybe try to maintain relevance like the NFL does 12 months a year, how it just everything overlaps on top of each other. Like, of course, last week was the Senior Bowl. This week is the Super Bowl. And after this, it's all eyes toward the combine and the draft and things about that nature, and then you'll go into all the free agency, the draft, and mini camps. It just never stops in the NFL, and college is trying to get there. But I was intrigued when I saw this today. So Bill Connolly has been a friend of the show. He's been very kind to join us over the years, and he does the SP Plus rankings at ESPN. It's basically a metric that he puts together. It's not the metric. It's not one be-all, end-all. It's just a thing to consider when rating or grading teams. It's an objective data point, and he uses a lot of different criteria. Well, part of that is returning production. So next week, Bill Connolly will put out his early SP Plus rankings, which will evolve over the offseason as maybe guys transfer out, leave, come in, whatever it may be. Like LSU's outlook in 2018 would be dramatically different after spring when they got Joe Burrow, right? But today he looked at just the returning production. What teams lead college football in returning production in 2023? And so it was an offensive rank, a defensive rank, and then a cumulative rank when you combine the two. And the team at the top of the list is a team that is going to get a lot of attention this offseason. And it's a team that is very relevant to LSU because it's the team LSU will open against in Orlando, and that's the Florida State Seminoles, returning 87% of their production. What's interesting is that 94% of their production is back defensively. That's number 2. 80% of their offensive production is back. That's number 12. Kansas is number 2 on the list, followed by Florida Atlantic, Wyoming, Michigan. That has got to be tantalizing for Wolverines fans. After back-to-back college football playoff appearances, now you return the 5th most production in all of college football. UConn is 6, and then Texas A&M is 7. That's the thing that's going to make you look and go, all right, Jimbo. Like last year, you landed the gigantic class, and you were worse. Now you get everybody back that contributed from a 5-win football team. Are you actually any better? We'll see. Let me not bury the lead any further. LSU on this list is 32nd. So LSU 32 overall. When you look specifically at offense, LSU is 10th in offense, returning 81% of its offensive production. And defense, though, is where they slip. They're 72nd in defensive production, returning at 60%. So again, 10th in the country in offensive production returning, that makes sense, right? Jaden Daniels, Malik Neighbors, Josh Williams, all your running backs, basically all your receivers except Besh and Booty. It makes sense. Defense is the question. And so I looked at this, and I don't know that necessarily this is a great projector of how a team is going to do in the next season. It's a pretty good indicator of how you might value them going into next season. I mean, I always say, who has the least amount of questions against the most manageable schedule? That's how I sort of rank a team going into the next season. Well, LSU has a more manageable schedule this year than they did a year ago, and they're returning a ton. But on defense, if you're looking at this, that's the big question. But here's where I look and I go, I'm going to be fascinated to see what Bill Connolly cooks up as far as the SP Plus rankings. Because there's a lot of things that are factored into that metric. But yes, LSU is 72nd in returning production. That's because you're losing guys like Micah Baskerville, who was your leading tackler, Jay Ward, who was second. You're losing B.J. Ojolari and Ali Gay and Mekhi Gardner, Jark Bernard Converse, Joe Fouché. Like, you're losing a ton of your production. And so naturally, you're not going to be high on the list defensively because you're losing so many guys. But, and here's sort of the caveat, the asterisk, I think I would argue that even with LSU losing as much production as they are going to be a better defensive team in 2023 than they were in 2022. There are some obvious reasons. Guys like Harold Perkins taking the next step. That is reason to be very excited, right? But look at the spots where you lost production and then look at who you're replacing it with. At linebacker with Micah Baskerville, that's the biggest question mark. We've talked about it a bunch. You bring in Omar Spates, and I think he is as important as anybody on this defense next year because if he comes in, the Oregon State transfer, and is a 100-tackle guy and replaces Baskerville's production, I don't think you miss a beat. I think you're better. Look at your cornerbacks. Jark Bernard Converse, Mekhi Gardner, out. Colby Richardson, out. But you replace him with Denver Harris, Deuce Chestnut, J.K. Johnson, Zy Alexander. I would argue all four of those guys, when their draft time comes, are going to be highly thought-after prospects to the draft than the guys you had last year. That's not to disrespect the job Jark Bernard Converse and Mekhi Gardner did. They came in, provide veteran leadership, stabilized a position where you had nobody. But you are more talented. Let me not say better. You are more talented at corner this year than you were last year. On the defensive line, yes, you lose Ali Gay, you lose Jaquelin Roy, you lose B.J. Ojolari. Not minimizing any of that. But you bring in Ovie Ogofu and Braden Swinson that could play Jack, and you know, obviously, look, you're bringing in Deshaun Womack, who's a 5-star, and you can always play Harold Perkins at the Jack if you need to. As far as the big end spot, you've added bodies there. And on the defensive line, Mason Smith is back. Mekhi Wingo off of an All-American season. Jacoby and Guillory. And then you've added Jefferson, Lee, and Shand all in the portal. All guys that have played at least 3 years of college football. You are, this isn't even debatable. You are deeper, more experienced, better on the defensive line than you were a year ago. You are more talented at cornerback. You do have a question at linebacker. That is fair. But if you see guys, if Spates comes in, if you see Perkins take another step year to year, you may not miss a beat at that spot either. So while, yes, your production defensively, you've lost a ton of it, somebody had to make tackles. Somebody had to defend passes. Somebody had to accumulate stats defensively. It doesn't mean that the players with which you replace them aren't a better option than the guys you had last year. And I think that's the case with LSU defensively. Now, the onus is on Matt House to blend it all together, to mold it all together, and make it work as one. All these parts that are better than what you had a year ago. But that remains to be seen. And until you see it, it's okay to be skeptical. But I think there's a lot of reason to be super optimistic about LSU and why you're going to see them in everybody's preseason top 10. If you're wondering about the rest of the SEC, so we mentioned A&M was 7. Again, this is returning production for 2023. A&M 7 in the country. Missouri was 9th. Followed by Auburn at 28, Ole Miss 30, LSU at 32. Vandy's 58th, Tennessee is 69th, Kentucky is 73rd, Georgia way down at 80. So how good are those recruiting classes, Kirby? How much can you turn over? Mississippi State at 91, South Carolina at 102, Arkansas 106. Yeesh. A 500 football team that returns nobody. That stings. Florida 107, same. And then dead last in the SEC returning production, Alabama 125 in the country. A lot of people that are going to be doubting the Crimson Tide next year. I have a little more I want to say on that, but like, how amazing is it that less than a year ago, 8 months ago, we're in Atlanta at SEC Media Days, and one of the certainties felt like Alabama was on a mission after losing the national championship game to Georgia. They lose a couple of close games to Tennessee and to LSU. One of them on a walk-off field goal, one of them in overtime. And all of a sudden, it feels like the foundation is crumbling in Tuscaloosa. Is it really? That's going to be a fascinating question this entire offseason. So LSU, highly thought of in terms of returning talent for 2023. Another reason why that LSU-Florida State game is going to continue to get a ton of hype going in this offseason. All right, it's after further review. Let me knock out a quick break. We'll head over to the ATL. Graff is there to call Pels Hawks. We'll talk to him next. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. 752-0001. That's where you can get them. 752-0001. Look for the big yellow vans and trucks with the giant clock on the side. You can't miss them. They're everywhere, all over town. Dozens. You'll see them every single day because your friends and neighbors do what I do. They trust River City's 1 Hour Air. Crad B, another 5-star Google review, said, John and his assistant were very professional. Very fast, quality installation, and they were very protective of flooring. Did a very good job with the cleanup. Highly recommend John and River City's 1 Hour Air. Another 5-star Google review, and you see so many of those because so many of your friends and neighbors have done what I've done over the last 40 years. That's trust River City's 1 Hour Air. Give them a buzz, 752-0001. Nights, holidays, weekends, they will always come out after hours. They'll never charge you extra to do so. It's River City's 1 Hour Air, 752-0001.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Saturday, February 25th, 7 p.m. The Bulls Bands and Barrels Tour at the Lamar Dixon Expo Center. Presented by Jerry Lane Chevrolet. Edge of your seat excitement with bull riding, barrel racing, ultimate bullfighting. With a live performance by Bailey Zimmerman. Rockin' a hard place. With Timothy Wayne. Plus two-time PBR world champion Chris Shivers. And Brinson James, the entertainer. Tickets and information at bullsbandsandbarrels.com. Saturday, February 25th. Lamar Dixon Expo Center at 7 p.m. Presented by Jerry Lane Chevrolet. The #1 Chevrolet dealer in Louisiana.
I had to leave my parents. I had to move schools. I don't know anyone here. Everything keeps changing. Why is this happening to me? I'm sure glad you're here.
Change a child's story. There's a child in foster care waiting for a volunteer like you.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, Pels back on the floor. See if they can make it 3 in a row. Let's head over to the ATL. That's where we find Todd Graffagnini, the radio voice of the Pels. Graff, we appreciate it, man. How are you?
I'm good, Matt. We're at home tonight.
Oh, crap.
I am not.
My bad.
Yeah.
My bad.
No,
I'm looking at it in front of my face. My bad.
It's okay. Yeah, we're at home. And also, full disclosure, Matt, I do not have my earbuds, so let me just get this out of the way. Okay, thank you. Ross Jackson, chef's kiss, man. Chef's kiss.
Is this going to happen every time I have anyone on the show from New Orleans who has any affiliation whatsoever with Maddie Hudak?
Hey, man, Madeline Hudak is one of my favorite people, and she's never going to live it down. I'll just say that.
But every time you or Ross or someone else does this, and then I have to re-explain the whole thing. I mean, I can't believe I screwed up the whole home and away thing tonight either. I'm looking at it.
It's okay.
I'm staring right at it.
Refocus, Moscona.
Yeah, okay, here we go. All right. And I even asked you yesterday about travel, and you didn't correct me.
Well, I said I was here. I said I was going to be in the car with kids. That should have told you right there that I wasn't traveling.
Yesterday?
Yeah, yesterday.
I don't know when y'all travel. When does the team travel? Like, I don't have your itinerary.
We leave at about 2:30.
Okay, well, that's good to know. Okay, that's good to know. Okay. So anyway, during the season, Maddie Hudak, who came on during every Monday after Saints games, one day she was holding the phone up to her ear and talking, and she kept hitting the buttons with her cheek, so we kept hearing beeps all throughout the interview, and it just became a running joke. Ross Jackson did the same thing yesterday, and now Graff has done it as well. And I'm kind of maybe going to encourage every guest heretofore to do the exact same thing. I like the idea.
I don't see why not.
Okay.
Keep it rolling.
Okay, Graff, what is the biggest difference during the 2-game winning streak as opposed to the 10-game losing streak?
Confidence. I think just having experienced victory was the key. Now, look, I was thinking about this before I came on, Matt. When you're in the midst of a losing streak like that, and it's even when you flip it and you're on a winning streak, when you're losing like that, are we ever going to win another game? And I mean, it's just like, you're not going to lose the rest of the games, but it really starts to weigh on you like that. And I was trying to think of, you got to hit rock bottom before you go back up. And I think that Friday night loss at home against the Wizards was probably rock bottom. That was on January 28th. It was a 113-103 loss. And then you kind of saw signs of the team snapping out of a little bit, even though you followed up with losses at Milwaukee, but you saw some good things. The game in Denver, the first half, played very, very well. And then Denver just kind of turned into Denver in the second half. And then Dallas, of course, down 31 and actually had a chance to tie it up at the end of regulation. But then it all came to a head. And I'm telling you, Matt, the one moment I'm going to look at to kind of get this going the other way, because for the first, the first half and then about 11 minutes and 30 seconds of the third quarter against the Lakers, it just looked like it was going to be more of the same. And then C.J. McCollum, you're down 8 at the end of the third quarter. C.J. McCollum made a runner in the lane and then deflected the inbounds pass right to Jose Alvarado, who made a three. And in about 15 seconds, the 8-point lead went down to 3 at the end of the third. And you heard the Smoothie King Center become the building we had become accustomed to in the month of December. The energy was back. And after I just thought that after that, it was almost like a collective sigh of relief. And they played much better, obviously, in the fourth quarter against the Lakers, won the game, and then looked like the old Pelicans, even though, we didn't have Ingram or Valanciunas starting against the Kings. He had a season-high 136 points without either of them. So I just think, the confidence level in the last really 5 quarters has been where we saw it in the month of December when they were playing so well.
Graff's with us. He's on Twitter at NTGraff. Y'all give him a follow. Pels at home tonight against the Hawks. Important. Yes. So if you have
6:30, by the way, 6:30.
If you have tickets, don't trash them. Yes, it is an earlier tip. They played the Hawks like within the first 10 games of the season. It was early. It was in November, and that was the game where they kind of blew it and lost in overtime. How do these two teams match up? How are they different than they were, 4 months ago? 3 months ago?
Well, if you look back at that game, and it was very early, that was actually one of the rare games, and I'm talking about 8 games this year, where we had our full complement of players. Ingram played that night. Zion played that night. Then again, so did the Hawks, and they're very talented. They used 3 first-round draft picks to get DeJounte Murray to come over from the San Antonio Spurs. DeJounte Murray, I just think he's just the quintessential point guard, even though he's playing alongside now Trae Young. Murray is the only player in the NBA who has back-to-back triple-doubles against one team. And his last triple-double in the regular season with San Antonio was against the Pelicans. That was prior to the play-in. The play-in game doesn't count as far as statistics go. And then he had a triple-double the first game in November. And as a matter of fact, if it wasn't for DeJounte Murray, the Pelicans would have won that game because he hit a ridiculous 15-foot left of the lane fall-away jumper to tie it up at the buzzer at the end of regulation, or the Pels would have won. Now, here's the thing, Matt. We found out about an hour ago, DeJounte Murray is now on the injury list with migraines. If he does not play, and that's a tough thing right there because he plays. He does not take games off. If he doesn't play, that's a big advantage for New Orleans. Now, look, Trae Young can score 40, 50 points at any time, but they have really fed off each other this year. Even though, if you look at their record, they're 27-27. The Hawks really have underachieved considering the talent that they have on their roster. And there's been a lot of turmoil over there with, Trae Young not getting along with Nate McMillan and just different types of storylines have been going on over there because their record really should not be where it is at 500. But a matchup I'm going to look at too tonight. Jonas Valanciunas should be playing again. He's listed as probable. I think he dodged a major bullet. He thought that he might have been really hurt the other night when he got hurt against the Lakers, but everything appears okay. He's probable. Looks like he's going to go. And over the years, he has really, really had an advantage over Clint Capella, who was the Hawks starting 5. So we'll see if we can get Jonas cooking again. Even though Billy Hernangomez and Larry Nance played outstanding against the Kings, Hernangomez had 22 and 16, both season highs. And Larry Nance literally is 2 rebounds away. He had 9 rebounds against the Lakers and 9 rebounds against the Kings. He is 2 rebounds away from 5 consecutive double-doubles. So Larry Nance has been huge.
B.I., is he going to go tonight?
He's probable, and he was at shoot-around, so I would think he would be. Yes.
Is kind of the way you started, Graf, where it was just like they just needed to win one so they could exhale?
Yeah.
Same with B.I. Just he needed the night like he had when he put up 35 just to say, oh, okay, yeah, I can. It's going in the basket again.
Yeah, no, I agree 100% because he was getting his points for the most part since he came back, but it wasn't efficient.
Yeah,
it was taking him a lot of shots to get where he was going. No, in the Laker game, and he actually started out a little slow in the Laker game, and then the second half he just became Brandon Ingram. I mean, mid-range after mid-range were dropping, and the point totals were going up, and it wasn't taking him that many shots to get to the 35. So that's the Ingram that you missed for 2 months, and it does make a big difference because when Ingram's not in the lineup, we've talked about this constantly, then you don't have what you would call a true get your own shot scoring threat other than C.J. McCollum. And when Ingram's not in the lineup, then other teams can blitz C.J. They can double him and make it a little more difficult for him to get a shot. And then when you look at that, and that's where you start to get deeper in the roster, that's why having a Trey Murphy and what he did against Sacramento and Los Angeles is so key. Because if Trey gets hot, he can go on a heater, which he really he carried you against Sacramento and was starting to get there against the Lakers. And, again, it's all about confidence with Murphy. He's had his ups and downs this year, but, boy, when he's got it going, he is fun to watch because he just lets it fly. He does not – it is catch and shoot, man. And hopefully for the most part it's been going down. And I say this all the time, Matt. My favorite stat in basketball is 50-40-90, 50% field goal shooting, 40% three-point shooting, and 90% free throw shooting. It's only been done by 9 players in the history of the NBA. Trey Murphy right now is at 49, 40, and 92. So that is definitely going to be on my radar, if you will, the rest of the season.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, you're right.
So we're going to hear it tonight.
It's happening. Look, I thought about this. I thought about this, Matt. I did that all the time when I was doing Tulane basketball, all the time. And I don't know why. I don't know why I stopped it. I think I did it a couple times my first year here. And here's the phrase, for whatever reason, I just stopped doing it. So we're going to have to bring that back.
Yeah, you're right.
And I'm going to have to credit you.
Yeah, you're right.
For putting it back on the radar.
What can this be a signature call? I don't know,
nobody else in the NBA is saying, yeah, you're right.
I understand that, but I mean, it becomes the way you punctuate something. Like,
well, it's got to be done at the right time. You can't overuse it, Matt. You know what I'm saying?
My dad begs to differ.
It's got to be done first. No. I know what you're saying, but for me, you can't do it 4 or 5 times a game. You just can't do it. You got to pick your spots.
Okay. All right.
But it's going to happen.
All right.
Now they got to put me in a position for it to happen.
Yeah, you can't force it.
No, you can't force it. But if the situation does arise, it's going to happen.
All right. Well,
so get ready.
We'll look forward. I told you, if it happens, it's leading tomorrow's show. Like, spoiler alert, Graff saying, yeah, you're right, on the Pels broadcast tonight is leading tomorrow's show, provided it does, in fact, happen during tonight's broadcast. Again, 6:30 is the tip from the Smoothie King Center. It's a home game tonight for the Pels and the Hawks. I guess, Graff, when you're not going to the game and, you're just going to watch on TV or listen, it doesn't really matter where it's being played in between my ears. So, anyway, have a great call. We appreciate the time, as always. Thanks, Matt.
Yeah, you're right.
I love it. I thought we'd get a beep on the way out. All right, it's after further review. We appreciate Graff. We're brought to you by South Point Volkswagen. SouthPointVW.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at SouthPointVW.com. You can check them out right there, SouthPointVW.com. We were at a fundraiser this weekend, and it was at St. Jude School where my wife works, and I won what's called the Boozy Barrow. If you could think of one thing in the world that I don't need more of, it's probably booze. Is that fair, Muse? If there's one thing in the world, say, yeah, Moscona has enough of that. Booze?
Yeah.
I got like 300 bottles of whiskey at my house. I don't really need more booze, right?
Want more, but don't need.
Sure, need.
Yeah.
I won the Boozy Barrow.
There it is.
Which was a wheelbarrow full of booze.
Anything good?
Oh, yeah. I mean, different craft beers, 6-packs, wine, vodka, gin, whiskey, tequila. I mean, dude, it was a ton of booze. And Erica was like, I probably need to get my dad's truck to bring all this home. And then you get the wheelbarrow, too. I said, just put it in the back. Just put it in the back of your Atlas, your Volkswagen. She's like, it won't fit. I said, hell, it won't fit. Of course it'll fit. Drop down that third row and shove it in there. Room to spare. Could have fit like 4 Boozy Barrows in there. A spacious 3-row, 7-seater family SUV. That's the Volkswagen Atlas. Erica and I each have one, part of their 9 different IIHS top safety picks. It's at South Point Volkswagen. Airline just north of Highland, or southpointvw.com. South Point Volkswagen, what's your direction? All right, it's after further review. We'll go around the SEC when we come back. Speaking of booze, we'll talk to Feinswog in about 45 minutes from right now. Sean Payton is poaching the New Orleans Saints coaching staff. We're getting to that to start hour 2. So if you got to run along, come back in about 30 minutes. We'll be talking about Sean Payton coming like a thief in the night, taking everybody off of this staff. I mean, he hired them all, so it doesn't really matter, I guess. Whatever. All right, it's AFR. We'll continue.
AFR.
Hey, mark it down. A week from Friday, the LSU baseball opener. I've been telling you about Tallulah inside of the Renaissance Hotel. For the LSU baseball opener, if you're not going to be at the box, come hang out with me at Tallulah inside of the Renaissance. Was talking to Nathaniel over there earlier today, the GM of the hotel. We're going to do an awesome thing. They are going to have discounted food, which is phenomenal, by the way. They're going to have vendors from Rally Cap, the local brewery, is going to be giving out beer samples. Taylor Calandro is going to be out there with some samples of some allocated whiskeys. We'll tell you which ones whenever we have the exact list. And we're going to have the game on 2 big projection screens inside and out on their terrace. So if you're looking for something to do on the Friday of the season opener, a week from Friday, come hang out with your boy over at Tallulah inside of the Renaissance Hotel right there on Bluebonnet. That's a week from Friday at Tallulah.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, anytime. Hunt Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $8,500 off new 2022 Ram 1500s. New 2022 Ram 1500 trucks on our lot now with $8,500 off MSRP. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right. Bayou.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Saturday, February 25th, 7 p.m. The Bulls Bands and Barrels Tour at the Lamar Dixon Expo Center. Presented by Jerry Lane Chevrolet. Edge of your seat excitement with bull riding, barrel racing, ultimate bullfighting. With a live performance by Bailey Zimmerman. With Timothy Wayne. Plus two-time PBR World Champion Chris Shivers. And Brinson James, the entertainer. Tickets and information at bullsbandsandbarrels.com. Saturday, February 25th. Lamar Dixon Expo Center at 7 p.m. Presented by Jerry Lane Chevrolet. The #1 Chevrolet dealer in Louisiana.
I had to leave my parents. I had to move schools. I don't know anyone here. Everything keeps changing. Why is this happening to me? I'm sure glad you're here.
Change a child's story. There's a child in foster care waiting for a volunteer like you.
We get it done with strength, commitment, dedication, grit. We get it done with passion for our fans and love for our community. We are the Tigers. Get it done.
Let the values of the purple and gold be in your starting lineup this season. And as always, get it done.
Moon Griffon is back. The voice of Louisiana politics makes his return to Baton Rouge.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
This February, 104.5 ESPN and Citizens Bank and Trust are here to offer you a holiday rebate to the tune of a $2,000 cash prize. We'll also be selecting a local prize winner to receive $1,000 cash. Sign up now at 1045ESPN.com.
All right, rolling along. Glad you're with us here. Oh, did you see there's going to be a game at Wrigley, another game at Wrigley Field, a football game at Wrigley Field. Northwestern against Iowa will be November the 4th at Wrigley Field. They have corrected. Remember a couple of years back, it was, who was playing there? It was Illinois. It was Northwestern and Illinois, where both teams had to go in the same direction because the way the field was configured, it was too close to the wall. And so, you don't remember this?
I remember. You've jogged my memory.
Yeah, so
yes.
Both teams had to go in the same direction at the field. Well, they've since rectified that with the way that they've positioned the field, so that's good. And also, so that's this year. Also, Iowa has amended Kirk Ferentz's contract. In order to get his full salary and bonuses, and for his deal to roll over, they've got to average 25 points a game. That sounds so hard.
I think Kirk Ferentz is done, man. I really do.
Oh,
I think
man.
that's it.
He's got to get to 7 wins, too. in 2023. He's got to average 25 points per game this year. What did they? I need to look exactly what they averaged this past year. That is so disheartening that in 2023, in order for your coach to have his contract roll over, you've got to hit 25 points a game.
It's so Iowa.
Yes, I understand, but that's the point. It's like that shouldn't be hard, but for Iowa, it feels impossible.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. What did they average this year? So Tennessee led the nation at 46 points per game. I am scrolling. Where was Iowa? Iowa averaged, I just got to scroll all the way to the bottom, right?
I'm going to say, just off the top of my head, 14? 14 to 17 is what I'm thinking.
14 to 17, by the way, is a big gap. A field goal is a big gap. It was 17.7 points per game. So think of it this way, though. For him to hit that average, they've got to average a full average.
Yeah.
A full touchdown more per game than they did last year. And you might think that should be easy, right? Just got to get, but because you were so low, man, but like there's a reason. It's the style of play. Like, you know what I will be very interested to see? Like, if you're Kirk Ferentz and you're in a game, like, if you're up 14-6, are you pushing the ball?
Who's on their schedule? That's something to look at, too. Like, if they have just like a FCS team they can ping 70 on and just leave that, and that'll factor into your average the entire year?
Utah State at Iowa State. Remember, in Big Ten, you
only play nine games.
So their non-conference is Utah State, Iowa State, Western Michigan. So
better put up like 60 on Western Michigan.
One of those, you better. Let's see. Hold on. What did they do last year? Like, this is actually going to be a really fun thing to follow next year.
Sportsbook has to put out odds on this.
How much Iowa's points per game to follow throughout the year. So they beat South Dakota State last year 7-3 in their opener.
Bro, that is so brutal.
That's an FCS opponent they beat 7-3.
So bad.
They lost to Iowa State 10-7. They beat Nevada 27-0, Rutgers 27-10, lost to Michigan 27-14. They lost to Illinois 9-6.
Brett Bielema was in heaven.
They lost to Ohio State 54-10. Their biggest output of the season was against Northwestern, incidentally, which is who they're playing at Wrigley. That was 33-13. Then they scored 24, 13, 17, and then 21 against Kentucky in the bowl game, which the under in that game was stealing money.
Yeah.
I mean, because Will Levis did. Nobody for Kentucky played.
Yeah, Rodriguez was out.
You had two defensive-minded teams. It was like the only way that was going to hit over the total was defensive scores, wackadoo stuff. And there was a defensive score in that game. Iowa got a pick six and only won 21-0. And the under was a rocking chair cover. I think the total was like 32.
I mean, they got to 17.7, and it's because of the stretch at the end of the year when they put up 33, 24. I mean, that's it.
That's a good point. Their non-conference games, they went 7, 7, 27.
Yeah, he's cooked, bro.
41 over 3 games. What's 41 divided by 3? I'm so bad at math.
So am I. That's
13, 14.
Somewhere in that range,
right?
Yeah.
14 points a game. Man, they are bad. That'll be fun.
It's a big gap, but I was kind of on it with my 14 to 17.
Are you going to bet on it next year?
If I can, absolutely.
You better do it at DraftKings.
Yeah.
Official sports betting partner of Super Bowl 57. Hey, remember, every day this week. Oh, Otter just sent a pic, by the way. I'll give it to you in a second here. Every day this week at DraftKings, they are boosting a prop bet for the Super Bowl. So you got to go check on the DraftKings app for that day's boosted prop bet. But remember, if you're a new customer, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use the promo code Baton Rouge. Remember, download the DraftKings Sportsbook, use the promo code Baton Rouge. If you're a new customer, bet just $5 on the Super Bowl. They'll give you $200 in free bets instantly. It's at the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Again, use the promo code Baton Rouge.
21 and older, physically present in Louisiana. Select parishes only. Bonus issued as free bets. Opt-in required for odds boost. Bet type and amount limits vary. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/football terms. Licensing partner Golden Nugget Lake Charles. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 1-800-426-2537.
Muse, I gave you specific instructions yesterday to fix that.
See, I need your help fixing that.
No, you don't. You just have to undo the edit that you did.
No.
And get it back to regular.
I tried that, and you still sound like Helium Man, just talking slower. I need you to re-record it so I can do it
Why
again.
didn't you re-record it?
Because it's not my ad read.
Doesn't matter. Just a disclaimer. You're fired.
What else is
and I can do that now.
I don't know. No.
Ah, yes, I can.
I don't think so.
Oh, friend, yes, I can.
I don't think so.
The whole firing brain takes it, Paulie. Look at Paulie laughing. He knows it. It takes on completely new meaning now. You are so fired. Thin ice over there, buddy. You better watch your step.
I'll see you tomorrow.
All right, we do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC. Thin ice. Oh, late on that. Around the SEC.
Around the SEC. Presented by Gulf Coast Office Products. Excellence in imaging solutions. The Alabama Crimson Tide.
Bama has lost a couple of more analysts from their defensive staff. Dave Huxtable is leaving for a job with the Atlanta Falcons. He's been with the Crimson Tide the last 2 seasons. Previously was the defensive coordinator at NC State, Georgia Tech, North Carolina, and Pitt. Of course, they also lost Todd Grantham to the New Orleans Saints.
The Mississippi State Bulldogs.
Wide receiver Caleb Ducking, remember him? That's the guy that would do the duck waddle after he scored a touchdown. Caleb Ducking has entered the transfer portal. He originally declared for the draft in a since-deleted tweet, but now says he'll use his 6th season of eligibility and will play somewhere else. He caught 46 balls for 477 yards and led Mississippi State with 8 receiving touchdowns.
Texas A&M!
2024 quarterback Anthony Maddox out of Mississippi. He has committed to the Aggies, doing so on Monday night. Chose Texas A&M over Penn State and Alabama. A 6'2", 175-pounder. He's the 4th commit for Jimbo Fisher's 2024 class. He's the 31st ranked quarterback in the country.
The Florida Gators.
Initially viewed as a candidate to open Florida's baseball season as the Sunday starter, Pierce Coppola, or Coppola, I don't know how he says it, don't really care. He's no longer expected to be ready for opening day. They're building him back from an injury, and Kevin O'Sullivan said they hope to have him ready for the start of conference play. He had surgery on a bulging disc in his back. Had to be very careful with that one.
The South Carolina Gamecocks.
And this is interesting. South Carolina has started the process to determine the feasibility of a major modernization of Williams-Brice Stadium. They're looking to acquire a whole bunch of land around the stadium and expand the venue's use for other public events in addition to football games. Really interesting. So the request for information is due back to the university at the beginning of March, and then they'll formulate a plan moving forward. But that's something worth keeping an eye on. All right, there you have it. That is Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products. Shout out to our guy, Trey Beal, and our friends at Gulf Coast Office Products online at gcopnet.com, gcopnet.com. For Gulf Coast Office Products, face-to-face sales, service after the sale, interactive whiteboards, all-in-ones. If you have issues with your office equipment, you need Gulf Coast Office Products. A leader in the industry, national leader among Savin dealers, but they service all makes and models. It's Gulf Coast Office Products, gcopnet.com. All right, it's after further review, final break. We'll come back and wrap up hour number 1 next. Don't you move. It's AFR.
AFR.
All right, this Friday, y'all, we will be at Rouse's. AFR and Hunt Palmer show from Rouse's in Denham. Alex Bregman will be there. Breggy Bomb is launching statewide in Rouse's on Friday. Of course, you know Breggy Bomb, Alex Bregman's salsa line. He's now adding barbecue sauce and other great seasonings, and it'll be available in Rouse's statewide starting on Friday. And so Bregman will be here for the launch. We're looking forward to that. We will be at the Rouse's in Denham for Hunt Palmer Show and AFR. Bregman will be there from 2 to 5. So come take pictures with Bregman, meet him, pick up some of his sauce. We'll look forward to being out there for Hunt Palmer Show and AFR. Rouse's in Denham this Friday. So make plans to come meet Alex Bregman. Look, Super Bowl Sunday is coming up. Get everything you need, chips and dips and drinks and everything you need at Rouse's in Denham this Sunday. AFR Live from Rouse's in Denham from 3 to 6, along with Alex Bregman.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded. because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside off the bench, anytime. Hunt Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Saturday, February 25th, 7 p.m. Bulls, Bands, and Barrels at the Lamar Dixon Expo Center. Presented by Jerry Lane Chevrolet. With bull riding, barrel racing, ultimate bullfighting. With a live performance by Bailey Zimmerman with Timothy Wayne. February 25th, Lamar Dixon Expo Center, 7 p.m.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
One of the things that I was going to be very interested to see after this weekend, it was the ratings for the Pro Bowl games. Full disclosure, I did not watch. Muse, did you watch any of the Pro Bowl games?
Nope.
Paulie, did you watch any of the Pro Bowl games?
I did not.
Okay. Did you watch the Pro Bowl a year ago?
Nope.
Paulie?
I don't think so.
Okay. I did not. Did not watch Pro Bowl games. Didn't watch Pro Bowl a year ago. What if I told you ESPN generated a total audience of 6.28 million viewers for Sunday's activities? Pretty good, right? 6.28 million. For context, the NASCAR race at the Los Angeles Coliseum, which is a pretty cool one-off, right? I mean, you're doing a NASCAR race inside of the Coliseum. That drew 3.65 million, so you were about 3 million more than viewers than the NASCAR race. And the NHL All-Star Game drew 1.5 million viewers. So you were about a 5X, about 4X on the viewership of the NHL All-Star Game. That's pretty good for the Pro Bowl games. Last year's Pro Bowl, again, Pro Bowl games had 6.28 million viewers. Last year's Pro Bowl, the last year of the game that everybody hated because nobody actually played hard and stuff, 6.7 million viewers. You had more viewers for the Pro Bowl than for the Pro Bowl games, which is why, and the lead, this is from Flory over at Pro Football Talk, Pro Bowl games here to stay. It will never die. He said, so the Pro Bowl games, he went through the ratings, like Pro Bowl games are going nowhere. For more than 6 million viewers to a full stadium of fans, it'll definitely be back in 2024. That's fine. That's the same thing the Pro Bowl was doing. Like almost identical. Now, actually, more people watch the Pro Bowl, and you had a full stadium of fans and all that sort of stuff, people just crapped on it because the players didn't play hard and weren't interested in tackling. It's just a matter of what is your temperament. If the players prefer this because they have fun doing it and there's less chance of injury, cool. I mean, Myles Garrett did dislocate a toe if you missed that over the weekend. But either way, if there is live content that will draw an audience on TV, it will never leave TV because it is very hard to find things that people will watch live because we all consume media on demand now as far as video content. So, yeah, Pro Bowl games will be back for sure. But more people watched the Pro Bowl a year ago. All right, it's after further review. A Sports Center is coming up, gets caught up on national headlines. When we come back, Sean Payton is poaching the New Orleans Saints coaching staff. I'll tell you the latest when we come back on AFR.
AFR.
We're brought to you by Mold Zero. I promise. Live radio. Mold Zero USA. Mold-0USA.com. I really have enjoyed this partnership, and I've really enjoyed telling you about Mold Zero, about Jim Woodworth and the gang over at Mold Zero and all the great work they do, because it's saving people from the harmful dangers of mold, but it's also saving people money and time and hassle. Now, normally when you have mold, people are thinking, man, got to go cut sheetrock, got to pull insulation out of the attic, whatever the case may be. And I'm here to tell you, you don't need to do that. And Mold Zero is the reason why. Mold-0USA.com. Mold Zero is a patented, non-toxic dry fog. You spray it, you let it dwell. It'll eliminate mold odors as soon as the fog clears. You can go back in your home or office free and clear. Mold-0USA.com.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $8,500 off new 2022 Ram 1500s. New 2022 Ram 1500 trucks on our lot now with $8,500 off MSRP. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right. Bayou.
Saturday, February 25th, 7 p.m. The Bulls Bands and Barrels Tour at the Lamar Dixon Expo Center. Presented by Jerry Lane Chevrolet. Edge of your seat excitement with bull riding, barrel racing, ultimate bullfighting. With a live performance by Bailey Zimmerman. With Timothy Wayne, plus two-time PBR world champion Chris Shivers, and Brinson James, the entertainer. Tickets and information at bullsbandsandbarrels.com. Saturday, February 25th, Lamar Dixon Expo Center at 7 p.m. Presented by Jerry Lane Chevrolet, the #1 Chevrolet dealer in Louisiana.
I had to leave my parents. I had to move schools. I don't know anyone here. Everything keeps changing. Why is this happening to me? I'm sure glad you're here.
Change a child's story. There's a child in foster care waiting for a volunteer like you.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. New development regarding the Nets from ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski. In the aftermath of the Kyrie Irving trade, Brooklyn and Kevin Durant continue to have ongoing conversations about the direction of the franchise. The organization has so far told inquiring teams it is not planning to trade Durant before Thursday's deadline. This could be a historical night in the NBA. LeBron James, with a shot at becoming the all-time scoring leader, enters the matchup against Oklahoma City 36 points away from passing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. That achievement will be the result of LeBron's sustained greatness, notes ESPN's Brian Windhorst.
It's a beautiful side effect of the longevity of his career. It's such an iconic record. I mean, it's really been held by two guys since the 60s, or I guess since the early 70s. That is such an important thing, and it's something to be celebrated and reflected on. But really, it's the product of him being so great for so long.
Brian Windhorst on Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. Lakers Thunder, 9:30 Eastern, ESPN Radio. NHL Sabres signed forward Dylan Cousins, 7 years, $49 million, locking up another key piece of their core.
We all know the game isn't over till it's over. So next time your car breaks down, don't call it quits. Head to eBay Motors. They have 122 million parts to take your car into overtime. Get the right parts at the right prices. ebaymotors.com. Let's ride.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
Let's ride.
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR. I'm Matt.
You're a loser, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Musu. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. We'll talk some beer with Feinswog in about 15 minutes. Uncle Larry will be here in hour number 3. Larry Holder, of course, covering the NFL for The Athletic. I want to talk a lot of NFC South. We'll talk about the Saints, but also what does Tampa do at quarterback? What about, obviously, a new head coach there in Carolina with Frank Reich coming in? Atlanta, a lot of fun toys on the offense. Can they actually improve? Tom Brady's future, all that sort of stuff we'll get to with Larry Holder next hour. Today, if you missed it, we're going to get to Sean Payton here in a second, who is poaching Saints assistants and looking to do more. Today, 13 years ago, the New Orleans Saints won Super Bowl 44 against the Indianapolis Colts. Tweeted out the video, Tracy Porter's pick six earlier today, and asked you all what you were doing, what are your memories. Would share a lot of them. How about Edward Hall? At Eddie_2_guns, watch it in a dining facility in Afghanistan on a rainy morning. Some perspective there. Thank you for your service, Edward. Primetime Podcast tweeted, said, I was 16 at Mr. B's in New Orleans when this play happened. My uncle handed me 2 bottles of Dom Perignon and said, go to bourbon. This will never happen again. Meet me at the car at 4 a.m. I saw the street fill up from these bars as people celebrated. Strangers were kissing each other. Pretty cool. At Swamp Thing 11B, I was watching it while holding my newborn son. Definitely one of the most incredible nights of my life. How about that? You become a dad, and the Saints win the Super Bowl. What a day. What a day. Really cool. David Moffitt, one more, said, watching a block away from Bourbon Street, watched people full-on sprint to the French Quarter, ended up on Bourbon Street with cigars like it was Mardi Gras. What a night it was, man. What a night it was. This might be the best one, actually, for a lot of different reasons. This guy, habitual line stepper, said, I lost the deposit on my apartment because we were spraying champagne in the living room and they had to replace the ceiling tiles. He notes, Totally worth it. We applaud you, sir. We applaud you very much. Yes. All right. It's after further review. We'll think of better times because the times going on in New Orleans right now, not super hot. On Monday, Sean Payton was introduced as the new head coach of the Denver Broncos. We had learned that Sean Payton is poaching Zach Strief, who was an assistant offensive line coach with the Saints for the past couple of seasons, to be his full-time head offensive line coach, primary offensive line coach there in Denver. Remember, it's just worth noting because a lot of people, I think, a lot of people have asked, hey, well, do you think Sean Payton might take Pete Carmichael? Remember, in the NFL, the way contracts generally are structured is you can't make lateral moves. You can't leave your job as a coordinator for the Saints for the coordinator job in Denver. You can ascend, so you can go from OC in New Orleans to head coach in Denver, hypothetically. You see what I'm saying? Ryan Nielsen, for example, was the co-defensive coordinator, and he left New Orleans to become the primary defensive coordinator of the Atlanta Falcons. Like, that is agreeable. So Zach Strief was an assistant offensive line coach, now becomes the Broncos offensive line coach. He was able to do that. But apparently Sean Payton is kind of just getting started with respect to poaching some of these Saints assistants. Jeff Duncan from NOLA.com has a lot of these reports. If you want to go follow him on Twitter, he's at Jeff Duncan _. And as the time that, as we mentioned before, Jeff Duncan, who quite literally wrote the book on Sean Payton and Drew Brees, if it comes to matters of Sean Payton, he's a pretty good source for those obvious reasons. Josina Anderson reported that Sean Payton is eyeing Saints assistant Declan Doyle, who was with the Saints contingent at the Senior Bowl, by the way. And then Jeff Duncan noted that Sean Payton also made an offer to longtime assistant Kevin Petrie, as he notes, who's been a valuable member of the football ops staff for the past 6 seasons. Jeff Duncan notes that it'll be a tough decision for the Covington native and LSU grad. So does Kevin Petrie leave the Saints to maybe head west to join Sean Payton there in Denver? And maybe the biggest news today is Ronald Curry. So Ronald Curry has been a Saints assistant since 2016. And he recently interviewed for the Buccaneers OC vacancy and is set to interview with Sean Payton to become the Denver Broncos offensive coordinator. So if you're scoring at home, Sean Payton has already hired Zach Strief. He is targeting Declan Doyle and Kevin Petrie, that's 3, and plans to interview Ronald Curry for the OC job, which would make 4. My goodness. Okay, so a couple things, and I kind of want to take these one by one. First of all, if you're Zach Strief, congrats. You're getting a promotion to the offensive line job at an NFL team. Cool. Kevin Petrie and Declan Doyle are valuable staff members that are likely to get promotions from their roles in New Orleans going to Denver, should they accept them. But those are the first 3 players, or coaches rather, on the offensive side that we've seen potentially leave New Orleans. And we've seen a handful of defensive assistants already out. Now, the Saints fired Dan Rauscher, but that was optics. Ronald Curry is an interesting one to me because he is a respected young coach. And I say young, he's 43. So for context, Ronald Curry's 43 years old. Kyle Shanahan's 43. Ronald Curry's been an assistant in the NFL for 9 years now. So he has paid his dues. And it's time for him to get an opportunity like this. It's fair to say, would that opportunity come in New Orleans if Pete Carmichael is in place? And I was asked earlier today about about Ronald Curry in particular. And my response was, I'm leery of a guy getting his first ever opportunity to call plays at the NFL level. And I know what you're going to say. You got to start somewhere. Everybody's got to start somewhere. And there's plenty of examples of guys who got their first start as an offensive play caller in the NFL, did really well. Sean McVay's one of them. Sean McVay was an assistant in Washington, like tight ends coach, elevated him to offensive coordinator, then got the Rams head coaching job as a result. Kyle Shanahan, who I just made the comparison to, Shanahan and Curry are both 43 years old. Shanahan became the OC in Houston. Of course, we know he went to Atlanta, the team that went to the Super Bowl, and then became the head coach in San Francisco. But his first OC opportunity, he was the OC in Houston, where Gary Kubiak was calling plays in 2008. So he had coached for 5 years, then got that opportunity as an OC, but wasn't really the play caller. Didn't become that until he moved on, and we know what happened with Atlanta and now in San Francisco. So you got to get a start somewhere. And maybe that's this spot for Ronald Curry, or maybe he'll go be the OC in Denver for Sean Payton, where Sean Payton's going to call plays, so he's not going to be that play caller anyway, but maybe that'll be the step that he makes that Shanahan made when he was in Houston. But I look at this a couple ways. You have a bright young coach that's very respected, and you risk losing him. But you have an OC in place in Pete Carmichael, so do you blow out Pete Carmichael and promote Ronald Curry? I would say if you're going to blow out Pete Carmichael, you can probably do better. You can get a coach that maybe has called plays before and has more experience or something along those lines. But I keep going back when I see all this news today where Zach Strief is heading to Denver, Sean's looking to poach Kevin Petrie and Declan Doyle and possibly Ronald Curry as well. And I keep going, this is the problem the Saints had with trying to maintain Sean Payton's organization and culture. Because it's Sean Payton's organization and culture. It's his staff. It's his people. It's the coaches he hired, he groomed, and they respect him. They stayed in New Orleans because they had jobs. But when given the opportunity to go rejoin Sean Payton, they're going to go. I don't mean to make an NFL to college comparison, but for the sake of people in this audience, it would make sense. It's not that dissimilar from what happened when Ed Ogeron was hired in 2017. He basically retained the staff. He retained Dave Aranda, and he retained Steve Ensminger, and he retained Corey Raymond, and he retained Meatball, promoted Dennis Johnson to defensive line coach. Now, look, I'm not saying any of those were the wrong decision. I'm just saying those weren't Ed's guys, and eventually, when you had turnover on staff and Ed had to hire, proved he couldn't. So I look at this and I go, Dennis Allen just sort of retained everything. He elevated Nielsen, elevated Chris Richard, kept Pete Carmichael in place, he kept Rauscher in place. I mean, you kept essentially the same staff, and that was the whole premise, right? Was, hey, look, you built this staff and this culture and this organization, and it's done so well, so just maintain it and continue on. The problem is it wasn't Dennis Allen's staff. It's Sean Payton's staff. And with every passing day, it's very clear more and more that this is not Dennis Allen's organization. So part of me kind of looks at this, and while you don't like to see this much turnover, I actually, in a weird way, welcome the turnover. Because I don't believe Dennis Allen is going to be successful running Sean Payton's organization. Dennis Allen needs to run Dennis Allen's organization. And I don't know if he can win. I've told you before, I don't think he will. We have a large enough sample size from his time in Oakland with the Raiders and now with the Saints to suggest he's a really good defensive coach, not going to be a great head coach. Been over that a million times. So I, in a weird way, am kind of excited to see this much turnover. Let's see what happens when Dennis Allen goes and hires his own staff. What does it look like? Now, at this point, I'd probably rather see Ronald Curry as the OC than Pete Carmichael because I know how that looks now. So give me something different. But maybe it'll be for the best if Ronald Curry leaves, for him personally, and maybe for the Saints organization to find a way to move forward and move on from the Sean Payton lineage. You got to build your own thing. You got to build it differently than what you had before. Let this guy put his own thumbprint and fingerprint on this organization, however it may look, for good or for better or worse, good or bad. Let it play out the way it will. All right. We'll keep you posted if there's anything further on those. We'll knock out a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk to Lee Feinswog, a little LSU hoops, some beer, get into all of that. And still to come this hour. Latest from Super Bowl 57, as the teams are there in Arizona. We'll get into all of that. And Larry Holder next hour as well. We're glad you're here. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
Get Gordon and get it done. Very cool. If you're following Gordon on all the social media, you'll see they're starting to announce the winners of the Get Gordon Dance Challenge, which wrapped up at the end of January. So you can go to getgordon.com on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok, at Get Gordon. You will see, pretty cool, all the dances for the winners. Also, we've been telling you about this. Gordon has introduced the Playing for a Purpose campaign. So Gordon Gives, the charitable arm of Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys, is donating $20 for every point scored by Alexis Morris and Angel Reese to the Turner Syndrome Foundation. That's a organization chosen specifically by Kim Mulkey. They've already raised $1,720 just through a couple of games so far. So that's awesome. They'll keep raising more. You know what to do. Get Gordon and get it done.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
I've got that blue sky, I've got that sunshine.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Hey, Lee, how are you, man?
Hello, Matt.
When are the Tigers going to win again?
Oh,
gosh. You know, they are entering into a stretch here with the bottom teams, at least. You know, Mississippi State, though, is just 2 games ahead of them, but Mississippi State's won 3 in a row. Poor LSU, Ole Miss, and South Carolina all sitting there at 1-9. I watched a little bit of Ole Miss the other day, and poor Kermit Davis, the coach, he just looked so beleaguered.
Kermit's going to be done there. I think that's fair to say.
Yeah, and, you know, and Matt McMahon, you know, I'd give him an attaboy and tell him, you know, you're doing all the right things. You know, what's funny is a lot of times you can ask coaches about the times they say might have been named Coach of the Year, and it's almost always to somebody who just wins a conference, a district, a league, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of times coaches do their best jobs with teams like this because there's so many things to keep them going. You know, those guys who – imagine being the guys who aren't playing on a team that's lost 10 in a row, but keeping them happy and getting them to practice and just keeping everybody together and getting out there. It's got to be hard, you know, for all those guys. And
I mean, Lee, the last time they won was the Arkansas game, which was, I mean, it was the week after Christmas. It was late December. The week. I mean, their SEC Open is the last time they won. I mean, it's
and that was remember at the time you were like, oh man, big win against Arkansas. Arkansas is ranked, and then of course, you know, they played Kentucky so tough, and then it's just gotten so much worse since then. I mean, you know, when I was I didn't get to watch when I heard the score last month of the Alabama game. It's impossible to lose by 40 in your conference.
No, it ain't.
It's just you know that just doesn't normal things like that just don't happen. So you know and I'm not being funny with this, and I say these coaches are probably doing as good a job for them as they've done with teams that are way better. But that's just the nature of the beast. Nobody who finishes last ever won too many Coach of the Year awards.
I mean, Vanderbilt lost by 60 to Alabama earlier this year. I mean, that was 101-44 a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
I mean,
you look at the stats in the league, and you know KJ Williams is 3rd in the league in scoring. Then you got to go a long way till you find another LSU player.
Do you think there's hope for this? Not this team, right? I mean, look, the hope for this team is, as you mentioned, they've got South Carolina, Vandy, Ole Miss, all back to back coming up here in a few weeks. So they'll have a chance to get off the schneid and maybe notch a couple of wins, which would be great to see for this team.
Love the word schneid. Love that.
I do
off
too.
The schneid is such a great phrase.
Don't you like the word schneid? I like to say schneid.
I do.
I do like schneid. I do. You know what else I like to say? I like to say tookus. I like to say tookus.
You know what tookus means, right?
Your butt, your hiney?
Yeah, it's Yiddish for your butt.
Yeah, but you tookus. I like to say tookus. Yeah. But I got to say it like with a little action on it, right? A little like, hey, get off your tookus. I can't just say tookus. I've got to say tookus. No? No?
Yes. I think you were getting to try to finish that sentence where you said, you know, is there light at the end of the tunnel?
Maybe that's what I was going to say.
Well, you know, one of the things that I liked so much about when LSU hired Matt McMahon is that he's a builder. He's not a job hopper. He is a fundamentally sound guy who gets it and is going to build this program step by step. And he did what he had to do this year to, A, have enough guys who could walk and chew gum at the same time. And I think we got a little bit of fool's gold early because of how well they did in the non-conference and then those first 2 wins. But I'm sure he and his staff were cognizant of, you know, the tough times that were going to come. I don't think anybody thought they were going to lose 10 in a row. And, you know, it looks like they could lose more. But all the things that you felt good about when he got hired are still in place. And you just need time. And I hope that I'm right for his sake and for the program's sake that he's the right guy building it. I haven't heard anything bad about him except that, you know, they can't score. And like I've told you so many times this year, I like the way they play. They play hard. They play smart. They're just not physically talented compared to who they're playing. It's a good mid-major team, unfortunately playing in a very good league. Right now, I don't know that the SEC, Alabama's really good. I think Tennessee's overrated. And I think that when it comes time maybe for like the round of 8, maybe even before then, you're not going to see a whole lot of SEC like in some years.
Maybe not. I mean, it's the league has dramatically improved over the last half decade or so, from whatever year that was when they had three bids and it was atrocious, and they made a very conscious effort to be better at basketball, and they have been. Bama and Tennessee are obviously elite. Texas A&M is the surprising team in the conference, at 8-2 in the league. Maybe Auburn and Kentucky we thought might be a little better, but both are hanging around. Arkansas is super disappointing, but getting hot. Flip it though. Kim Mulkey and the ladies, do you think they'll win Sunday at the South Carolina?
No.
Why not?
South Carolina's better. And I say that somewhat flippantly because I can't tell you that I've watched South Carolina more than a few minutes.
That's
and
fair.
I've watched LSU some, but the LSU team has its flaws that, like, if you were in a coaches meeting, they would probably tell you we've got these weaknesses that they'll expose on us. And I actually did talk to a couple of my friends who are diehard LSU women's fans who say that that they feel the same way, and that's kind of like where I'm getting it from. So non-coaches.
But, so fans that think they're not there have told you that, so you're rolling with it.
No, these are fans who are diehard who understand basketball. So at least they got that going for them.
Got it.
Did you watch
yes.
Indiana beat Purdue by chance?
No.
No, Purdue, of course, is going to win the national championship in men's basketball.
No, they're not. You're going to pick them to do so, but they most definitely
Indiana's going to win this year. But Purdue's going to win this year. But Indiana, with the tradition that it has, and you think about it, beats Purdue and then storms the court.
Are you going to be a big curmudgeon who's against court storming?
Oh, absolutely. I think that it's horrible. Having been in a couple of situations where I was very scared. I've been in two situations that were really scary. One was at Jackson State when Southern played there a long time ago, and the other was the LSU upset of Florida in football. I want to say 97.
97 was it? Yeah.
That was there were some real unpretty things that happened near me, by me, around me, and I was really glad that people didn't get real hurt, especially me. I'm the first person I worry about in those situations.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of people listening right now going, Matt, you're the guy who hates storming the field. I want to be very clear. I hate LSU storming the field in football because LSU is way too good established program to run on the field. Like, you don't storm.
Well, that was my point with Indiana too. Although Indiana's been down, so
yeah, I hear you.
I know. Get off my lawn and get off my court and get off my football field. Can I ask you a question?
Yes, of
that
course.
You may not know, and I haven't
always
done the
do
research
that.
on
Yeah,
this.
You always
I know.
do that. Yeah.
Do you know of any football fields inside stadiums that are named for someone, like coaches?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Can you name them?
Sure. Florida, Ben Hill Griffin Stadium. They named the field after Steve Spurrier.
Okay. All right.
Why?
Just because they could come back and one day rename it Tim Tebow, Steve Spurrier Field.
Yeah, just keep hyphenating it all the way down the sideline.
There you go.
Why not? Right.
So Tim Brando came on your show yesterday, and I know he's been making the rounds, and he's on my show this week too, and we're coming out after anything will be decided, but that was predetermined. But he had some incredible good rants on my show.
What's your feeling on the whole thing?
I know for a fact I was the first person to ever bring this up and write about it in the late 90s and periodically over time. And you and I have discussed this on your own show. And you know that I always, from the get-go, from 1998, when I remember writing the first time, that it should be called the Sue Gunner Dale Brown Court. And I had my reasons. It's not important. I loved Sue. I loved Dale. It came to a vote. Finally, I'd given up on it a long, long time ago, but the group of people who pushed it through got it to a situation where the idea that I put forth, which was Sue Gunner Dale Brown Court, was rejected, and they went with Dale Brown Court. And there you go. It's Dale Brown Court. It's the only time in the last few years that I went to an LSU basketball game to be there that night to see it. Was happy for him. It was well deserved. I'm personally not a fan of naming buildings and sports venues after people, But they did it because in this case, in basketball, there's so many other instances where so many people less deserving at their respective institutions have courts named after them. So it's the Dale Brown Court, and that's the way it should be. It's not like, you're going to go change the name of Alex Box Stadium. You're going to change the name of other buildings on campus that are, and not just athletic buildings. There are buildings named after famous people who meant a lot to the university. So in my mind, it's done, and this whole thing is embarrassing, political, wrong, and as Jeff Marks said so eloquently, it's not been transparent and should be. And Dale's being put in a tough situation, which is so unfair for him because he didn't bring any of this upon himself. Dale never once said, name the court after me. And he was a big fan of Sue's, and she was a big fan of his.
I think it's all very well said.
Well,
the thing,
without frothing at the mouth like Brando.
No, and look, there's different ways that messages can be received, and so I appreciate the way that you went about saying it. The thing that I continue to push back against is the idea that who cares? It's just a name on a floor, and that's fine. I'm not asking you to be emotional about whose name is on the floor. It's about understanding that there is a process that is laid out, that is set forth. It came to a vote. It passed, and it's literally one pissed off woman who continues to push this issue and use her power, and that is just so Louisiana, which is so disheartening. And as you said, it's put Dale Brown at 87 years old in an impossible spot, and that sucks because one person's pushing an agenda, and a weak governor is allowing it to happen. It just, I don't, regardless of what it is. I mean, that's the kind of thing that set our state back for so long, and that's the thing that is annoying, upsetting, all the things that I think you said.
Yeah, and just as an aside, so the LSU women's basketball team, which plays on that court, so when it's, say, a televised game, it says Dale Brown Court. I don't think it's hurt that team this year or that program.
Yeah, they seem to be.
And Granite and Denny agree with me. Speaking of which, I don't put much on social media. Hey, you guys, I'm working here.
Yeah, working hard.
On Twitter, I don't post much, or even on my personal Facebook page. But since it's a Super Bowl this week, Granite really could be a wide receiver. There's a video on there that I just posted before for you to check out. He runs a route and snags a tennis ball in midair. It's
okay,
sweet.
I love it, man. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
News. Okay.
And while I was doing
yes.
that, go ahead. Yeah, no. I was giving you the segue to the next part. So what do you got?
And to celebrate said catch, we should raise a glass and drink an ice-cold beer. I was going to get there.
I know you were.
You just can't sit and wait. You gotta jump the gun.
Makes me think I'm a man. I could kiss and hug it, but I'd rather chuck it. Got my belly out to here. I could not refuse it. I could really use a beer.
All right. Take it away.
All right. 28 years of being my own host for Sports Monday / Sports 225. That's what happens when, they always say about teams, there's not enough balls to go around for everybody. That's not enough microphones sometimes. But you're the best at what you do, by the way. The best sports talk show in the free world. And to celebrate that tonight, you should stop and pick yourself up some Samuel Adams seasonal cold snap white ale.
Ooh, look at that.
It is, and you know what? It says, fresher days are coming, bright citrus and floral notes with a touch of vanilla and smooth, subtle sweetness that says spring is on the way. Well, our spring's here. We'll get another cold snap. But absolutely gorgeous color beer. It's called a white ale, 5.3%, which is 0.5% of what I think I advertised to you last week.
Yeah.
It is just a fabulously tasting, interesting, just real interesting beer. I'm at a loss to describe it. It's not a lager, of course it's a wheat ale of sorts, and it's only available through March. I got mine in bottles, but it's also available in cans, and it is really good. Samuel Adams. I'll tell you, Samuel Adams, the last year and a half, 2 years, just about everything that I pick up from them has been just great. Their Oktoberfest was better than everybody's at a great price point. This is a nice beer. The summer ales that they did last year are good. And then your basic Sam Adams lager is always a good go-to if there's nothing else that trips your fancy in a bar. So there you go.
Bottles
Sam Adams. Bottles and cans, right? Yep. Samuel Adams, seasonal cold snap white ale.
Bottles and cans, just clap your hands. Just clap your hands.
Oh, look at you. All right. Matt, as always, it's been a pleasure. This was one of our more sane segments.
Thank you, Lee.
Bye, Matt.
It's AFR. Stick around.
AFR.
Brought to you by New Orleans Flooring. Y'all get to NOLAflooring.com, or better yet, just go see our friends at New Orleans Flooring. I know I hammer price point so much because they cut out the middleman. So at New Orleans Flooring, they give you extremely discounted flooring options. I've been telling you, like, their last year's colors are as low as $1.79 per square foot. I mean, you're saving 50, 60% from some other places. And that's phenomenal. But the people are fantastic as well. Professional installers. And when you go to New Orleans Flooring in Prairieville, again, yes, New Orleans Flooring, they have their Metairie office, but also the location on Airline in Prairieville. Go south past the Walmart on Airline. It's on the right. You'll go see Terrell. You go see Big Sean. Awesome people. They'll take care of you. Just mention you heard about it on the show. Phenomenal people. They've got everyday low prices. They got free in-home estimates, massive inventory. They've even got a mobile showroom. It's New Orleans Flooring. Online, NOLAflooring.com, NOLAflooring.com.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Saturday, February 25th, 7 p.m. The Bulls Bands and Barrels Tour at the Lamar Dixon Expo Center. Presented by Jerry Lane Chevrolet. Edge of your seat excitement with bull riding, barrel racing, ultimate bullfighting. With a live performance by Bailey Zimmerman. With Timothy Wayne. Plus two-time PBR world champion Chris Shivers. And Brinson James, the entertainer. Tickets and information at bullsbandsandbarrels.com. Saturday, February 25th. Lamar Dixon Expo Center at 7 p.m. Presented by Jerry Lane Chevrolet. The #1 Chevrolet dealer in Louisiana.
I had to leave my parents. I had to move schools. I don't know anyone here. Everything keeps changing. Why is this happening to me? I'm sure glad you're here.
Change a child's story. There's a child in foster care waiting for a volunteer like you.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
All right, let's say ah.
Where'd my spotlight go?
Super weird, but we can take care of it.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
It's the 104.5 ESPN Big Game Contest presented by Heineken Silver, where you could win $50,000 cash if your name is drawn from the pot and you correctly guessed the final score of the game. We'll also be selecting a guaranteed local winner. The The 104.5 ESPN Big Game Contest presented by Heineken Silver. All the taste, no bitter endings. Get your score guesses in now at 1045ESPN.com.
Patrick Mahomes will be leading the Kansas City Chiefs in that game, Super Sunday, the big game on Sunday. He's won one of these and he's lost one of them.
The win is amazing. It's one of the best moments of your entire life. And you take away all the positives from that. But that loss, that stings. That motivates you for years. And that's what it's done for me. Is it's motivated me to be back in this game again. And I want to make sure that I can have that winning feeling, not that losing one, because that losing feeling is one that you'll never forget.
Patrick Mahomes trying to get his second Super Bowl championship. Meanwhile, Jalen Hurts for the Philadelphia Eagles looking to get his first. And his path was unconventional. Was the starter at Bama, lost his job to Tua, transferred to Oklahoma, made a playoff there, was a Heisman finalist, came up short, as we all know, against LSU, fell into round 2 of the draft, had to work his way to Philadelphia to become the starting quarterback, where now he has got a stranglehold on that, and he is their franchise. And here's Jalen Hurts on Super Bowl week.
I feel like I was going through a really tough time in college, going through things that no one else was really going through. And I knew I was going through it for a reason. I really believe that. So that's what I doubled down on. And I believe faith without work is dead. So while you have faith, you can't, not be doing anything. So I had a lot of faith and I put a lot of work in. I never stopped believing in myself and believing what could be. So I had limitless possibility.
It's interesting because Jalen Hurts, before his injury, was likely going to be the MVP of this NFL season. Patrick Mahomes is going to win the MVP this season as a result of his fantastic year, but also Jalen Hurts' injury, which pegged him, dinged him. There's just no way around that. So you'll have those two. Philly remains about a 1.5 favorite consensus in the game on Super Bowl Sunday. But, man, and I'll tell you the other thing, and I'm excited to get Jimmy's take on this a bit later, but roughly 75% of the money wagered is on Philadelphia. And that should give you the feeling, because when the public is going one way, you go the other. Same thing happened with Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals in the AFC Championship game. The public was very heavy on Cincinnati, and we saw Kansas City win that football game. So I like Patrick Mahomes. I'm certainly a heavy Kansas City lean in this game. I think the Eagles probably been the better team throughout this year, but I think the Chiefs have the better quarterback and are certainly more seasoned in that respect. And I'm excited for what I think will be a really good game. The Super Bowl, as much as we talk about, as much as we hype it, the Super Bowl doesn't always deliver. You will see Super Bowl blowouts. I mean, it's a rarity that you see an overtime game like we had with the Patriots and the Falcons when the Falcons blew the 28-3 lead, or the game that came down to the interception at the goal line with the Patriots and Seattle. You've seen a lot of 31-17. You see a lot of Seattle blowing out Denver. You've seen a lot of San Francisco blowing out Denver. You've seen a lot of the Bears, in the Superdome in 1985. I mean, it's more often than not your Super Bowl games haven't been competitive, but I think this one really shaping up to be pretty fantastic. I'm pulling for that certainly. And by the way, there is a record $50.4 million adults, that are expected to bet $16 billion on this Super Bowl. Of course, we're partnered here with DraftKings, and we encourage you to use the DraftKings Sportsbook as sports betting's live here in Louisiana. But as more and more states come online with mobile betting, and there's 32 now states that have legalized sports betting, and the District of Columbia. More and more states come online. Betting has become just part of our vernacular. It's kosher. You're going to see these numbers continue to increase. The number of expected Super Bowl bettors, by the way, is up 61% from last year. That's incredible. It's a 61% year-to-year increase. It just goes to show you how much sports betting is becoming accepted and part of the fabric of the sports viewing and consumption experience in our country. So, and this was another thing that was interesting. One more tidbit. So GeoComply is they're one of the leading providers of geolocation technology in the U.S., right? So like geofencing or geolocation with your phone or whatever apps. They said they processed more than 550 million geolocation checks with sportsbooks during the NFL playoffs. That's a 50% increase from last year. So people were using sportsbook apps at a 50% greater clip during this year's playoffs than last year. So you're just seeing it, man. More states are allowing it. More people are using it, adopting it. And it's certainly gives you something to cheer for, regardless of your affiliation. Okay, it's after further review. Love telling you about Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Great Louisiana company. It's been around for now 76 years. Online at Michelli.com. They've got their Harahan office, which is sort of their flagship there in the New Orleans area. But they've got 29 offices across 11 different states. If you weigh or measure something, they sell, service, and rent the products you use to weigh and measure. If it's weighing systems, products, services, go to the website and learn more about what they do. And I want to remind you as well also that at Michelli, they are hiring. So you can go hit the careers tab at the top of the page, and you can learn more about what jobs are available at Michelli. If you're a veteran, they have a veteran career center as well. So they would love to help you start your next chapter. Even if you're active duty, they can help you as well. It's online at Michelli.com. Go check out their Skill Bridge Industry Partner Program right there at Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Online at Michelli.com. That's Michelli.com. All right, y'all, it's after further review. We're glad to have you hanging out with us here. Been a really busy show already, man. It's flying by. We're going to get some more of your reaction and memories from Super Bowl 44. 13 years ago today, the Saints polished off the Colts to win their first ever Super Bowl championship. Sharing a bunch of memories throughout the show today. That's been really fun. We'll talk to Larry Holder in about 45 minutes as well about what the NFC South might look like in 2023. So we're looking forward to that. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
Okay, I want to remind you again, of course, Super Bowl Sunday is Sunday. And if you're going to be having a game watch, if you're going to have people over, or maybe just you, everybody eats wings on Super Bowl Sunday. That means you got to be locked into Pluckers. All right? Let me remind you, go to pluckers.com. You can choose either Baton Rouge location, of course, Nicholson or Bluebonnet. You can place your order online, or you can call them ahead and place your order for Super Bowl Sunday today. The worst thing you can do is call Pluckers at 3 o'clock and think you're going to order like 200 wings and have it ready in 30 minutes. That just ain't going to fly on Super Bowl Sunday. So get your order in now, designate what time you want to pick it up, and they'll have it ready for you for Super Bowl Sunday and ready to roll for your party. It's at Pluckers. Nicholson, Bluebonnet, dine-in, carry-out, or delivery. Tonight, every Tuesday, kids eat free and sports trivia at Pluckers on Nicholson with Hunt Palmer at 8:30. Some going on every night of the week at Pluckers, where if you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Toyota in Opelousas is here to help you ring in the new year with no markups, and you'll never pay over MSRP. And we have new inventory arriving daily. So Happy New Year from our Corvell Toyota family to yours.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Saturday, February 25th, 7 p.m. The Bulls Bands and Barrels Tour at the Lamar Dixon Expo Center. Presented by Jerry Lane Chevrolet. Edge of your seat excitement with bull riding, barrel racing, ultimate bullfighting. With a live performance by Bailey Zimmerman. With Timothy Wayne, plus two-time PBR world champion Chris Shivers, and Brinson James, the entertainer. Tickets and information at bullsbandsandbarrels.com. Saturday, February 25th, Lamar Dixon Expo Center at 7 p.m. Presented by Jerry Lane Chevrolet, the #1 Chevrolet dealer in Louisiana.
I had to leave my parents. I had to move schools. I don't know anyone here. Everything keeps changing. Why is this happening to me?
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
How can this even be real? A Mattress Mac, who, of course, won $75 million betting on the World Series, says he opposes a bill legalizing online sports gambling in Texas. There's got to be more to that. We'll dig a little deeper, but I mean, boy.
Sounds like one of those fake headlines you'd see like on The Onion or something like that, doesn't it? Guy who wins 75 mils, not a fan of sports betting.
That's like a fat guy being opposed to having cake at lunch.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't really make sense. We'll dig a little deeper there. All right, Muso. Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now. Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, where Baton Rouge gets engaged.
Cam Thomas is a bad man.
Did it again.
Bro. So, Saturday, he dropped 44. Monday, follows it up with 47. 50 burger coming next. And by the way, the Nets are on the second half of a back-to-back tonight. 47 points for Cam Thomas, a new career high in 39 minutes. Got the start because after you drop 44, you're going to earn some more PT. 15 of 29, 7 of 11 from 3, 10 of 11 from the free throw line, 4 rebounds, 3 assists to round out the 47-point night. ESPN Stats and Info gives you this nugget. Cam Thomas at 21 years old and 21 years, 116 days
Come on, bro, get it out.
21 years and 116 days old. There we go.
Oh my God.
Is the second youngest, that's not something you say normally, is the second youngest player in NBA history to record back-to-back 40-plus points games. Only LeBron James. We're going to see if we can nail this one. 21 years, 47 days, and 21 years, 92 days old, did it earlier in his career. Not bad company to be in if you're Cam Thomas, LeBron James. He's done some things.
Hashtag numbers.
A lot of them. So Cam's going to drop 50 tonight. You heard it here first. The Houston Rockets lost by 20 to the Sacramento Kings. Tari Eason put forth an effort of 4 points and 5 rebounds with a block in his 18 minutes off the bench. Shot 2 of 4 from the floor. And Trendon Watford last night, 19 minutes off the bench for Portland, 6 points with 3 boards and an assist. They lost to 127-108 to the Bucks. And lastly, Super Bowl coming up. Yesterday we told you that Clyde has been activated off of IR for the Kansas City Chiefs, so he'll get some playing time in the Super Bowl. Even before that, with the Chiefs advancing, makes 22 straight years, Matt. 22 straight years that a former LSU Tiger will participate in the biggest game of the NFL season. That's Tigers in the Pros.
Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, LMFJ.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. 2 locations in Baton Rouge. The countdown is on, gents. Today is the 7th, meaning you have 1 week. Oh, my God. Valentine's is 1 week from today. Oh, that reality just sunk in for a lot of people. 1 week from today is Valentine's Day. Don't screw it up. Thrill her with a gift in the red box from Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. LMFJ.com. It's a beautiful diamond ring, earrings, necklace, pendants, watches. They have it all at Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, where you always get the Lee Michaels experience. LMFJ.com, LMFJ.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. All right, y'all, it's After Further Review. Been a really good show, and we're glad to have you hanging out with us here. You can always email us, tweet us, jump in the Bayou Ford YouTube chat, or text in the 225 at 396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. By the way, big shout-out, Hester and T-Bob off the bench today, named by Barrett Sports Media, the 10th best mid-market morning show in the country. I think those guys were maybe 13 last year on the list, so moving on up, man. Congrats to the fellas on an honor well-deserved. Our guys, McElroy and Kublik, by the way, at Jocks in Birmingham, topping the list, so congrats to those guys as well. But Hester and T-Bob coming in at number 10 in the country as far as mid-market morning shows, so congrats to the fellas. All right, it's After Further Review. We'll knock out a quick break. Sports Center is coming up here right after the top of the hour. We'll get you caught up on national headlines. I want to relive some more memories from Super Bowl 44. Stick around.
AFR.
Man, I love telling you about the aesthetic medicine and anti-aging clinics of Louisiana because I feel like every time I have the opportunity to do so, I'm educating people on opportunities that are there to improve your quality of life, to look better, to feel better. It's at the aesthetic medicine and anti-aging clinics of Louisiana. We tell you about the great specials every month, like all throughout the month of February, $100 off lip filler. They also have huge discounts on the latest technology in microneedling. You can learn more there. Hormone replacement therapy, that's where you always got to start, though. If you're a man or a woman, doesn't matter how young or old, the age, the number is next to your name. It's more about how you feel. And if you feel sluggish, if you struggle to lose weight, you struggle to gain muscle, if you struggle to sleep at night or to wake up feeling energetic, you're sluggish throughout the day, if you just feel like you're aging, hormone replacement therapy could be a solution. I'll tell you candidly, my treatment is $35 a week. And for that, to be able to feel like my younger self, it's so worth it. Bluebonnet, Baton Rouge, Ambassador Caffrey, and Lafayette.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, anytime. Hunt Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN. Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, anytime. Hunt Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
Bayou Ford has $4,000 off MSRP plus $1,000 Ford credit cash on new 22 Ford F-150 XLT trucks. That's $5,000 off plus 0% financing. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. LeBron James' pursuit of NBA history continues tonight when he and the Lakers take on the Thunder. James is 36 points away from passing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for the all-time scoring record. Lakers point guard Dennis Schroeder told ESPN Radio, "It's been a privilege to watch this chase up close."
It's history, to be a part of it. I'm very honored and very proud that I'm here. He is an incredible person, incredible individual who works hard, and embraces every moment. So to be with him here every step of the way is great.
LA point guard Dennis Schroeder. You can hear more tonight on LeBron and the Lakers-Thunder matchup on the NBA on ESPN Radio at 9:30 Eastern. According to ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski, the Nets and Kevin Durant are having ongoing conversations about the direction of the franchise in the aftermath of the Kyrie Irving trade. So far, the Nets have informed inquiring teams they're not planning on trading Durant before Thursday's deadline. NFL, the 49ers hiring former Panthers interim coach Steve Wilks as their new defensive coordinator, reports ESPN's Adam Schefter.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Looking for a career you'll love with flexibility, great pay, and benefits, and one of the country's top workplaces? Come join their growing team. Go to progressive.com/careers and apply online today.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us, AFR. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Musu. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. 5 o'clock, quitting time. Glad you are driving home with us. By the way, a big shout out to Martin Cox, who just texted the show and said, "Give us Jimmy's pick, please." My apologies. I did tease this last hour, and then I forgot to give the freaking pick. So Jimmy did give a pick on an early game, 5:30 tip. So this is coming up in 28 minutes. Rutgers is the pick. They're plus 4.5. He says buy it to 5, so buy the half a point. So buy it to 5. Fading the court rush of Indiana this past week. So take Rutgers, tipping off at 5:30, and then we'll have Otter coming up at the end of this hour to give us a little bit of Otter. Like see if he's got anything for the late games as well. So we played this earlier in the show. 13 years ago today, a day that many of us never thought we would ever see, the Saints in Super Bowl 44 and Tracy Porter with the honors.
Manning in the shotgun puts Collie in motion, looks in his direction, and it's picked off! It's picked off! It's Tracy Porter again! He's running free! He's going to go all the way! Hand down stretch! It is a Saint touchdown! 70 yards on the return! 70 yards on the return by Porter! He did it to Favre, and now he's done it to Manning!
It was a moment I'll never forget. Was at my parents' house. Been asking a lot of you all day today to share your memories, and many of you have. But I was at my parents' house because I wanted to watch the game with my folks. And, of course, a guy who I trekked all the way up to Chicago with in January of 2007 in the snow to watch the Saints lose in the NFC Championship game to the Bears with he and his son. Is one of my best friends on planet Earth, Richard J. Condon. And old C-Man jumps aboard with us now. Big C!
Moscona, how are you, baby? I can remember 13 years ago tonight, your mama told me, Rich, would you go get mad? He's waking up everybody in the damn neighborhood. He's like Paul Revere.
So, Big C, what I do remember is when Porter got the interception and ran it back, I ran out their back door, right, and they had a porch out. I ran out the back door, and I was lapping the house, yelling "Hoot at" as loud as I could. So,
and all I got to do is I'm yelling at people going, look, he's homeless. There's no issue here. No need to call first responders. We good.
That was so good. Hey, Big C, what was that night like for you? I mean, when you think about it 13 years later.
But you know what, man? It was phenomenal. But, man, for me, it was like nothing was any better than Hartley making a kick 2 weeks early. I mean, for me, that was the moment because once that happened, I mean, I never envisioned the Saints ever going to the Super Bowl. I mean, I think about all the horrible draft picks and all the horrible head coaching moves and Dick had taken a picture, wedding dress and all the nonsense and the foolishness the Saints have, did over the years. So when Hartley made the kick, I was satisfied. And, when we were watching it together when they fell behind 10-0 and then 10-6 at halftime, and then with that play, the onside kick to start the second half, and, I mean, it was kind of like a numb feeling, man. I think, who would have ever thought that the Saints won the Super Bowl? What I was thinking about is, like my grandpa and people that came and gone and never got an opportunity since 67 and had to deal with all the misery and just all the embarrassing moments and the Big Ben and the last-second losses and all of that and all those people who were not around to be able to see that one moment in time, man. It was incredible.
I know, Big C. Man, I'm with you on Hartley's kick, and I think a big part of that, too, is so much of it is Jim Henderson, right? I mean, the call was perfect, and that has lived on in such a giant way because of that. And look, the call for Porter's interception was phenomenal as well. Are there other things from that game that you remember? I mean, everybody always talks about the pick six, and everyone always talks about the onside kick. Are there other things that you remember from the game?
Just, you know what? I remember the defense in the second half playing lights out. I mean, I remember that. I remember like Breeze and just him on the sideline, and just the way he controlled the team and he kept everybody organized, he kept everybody together, and Sean Payton's composure on the sideline too. I mean, normally sometimes the team goes for the first time. You hear people talk, well, they haven't been there before. You got to go, you got to lose, like Skip said with the College World Series.
Yeah.
But I just remember for a team going the first time, and I'm sure Breeze and a lot of the leadership, but man, that was amazing to me that they didn't play like a team that made that first Super Bowl appearance.
Yeah, man. The Lance Moore 2-point conversion as well. One of those plays that, man, Sean, it was one of those days, Big C, where Sean Payton pushed all the right buttons. He dialed up the right plays in the right moment. It was awesome to watch it all come together, man. Hey, so I was thinking about this earlier, Big C. Like, you're obviously a lifelong New Orleans Saints fan, LSU fan as well. Like, when you think about LSU winning 03 and now having won in 07 and then 2019 as well, does 03 still stand out to you because it was the first in 45 years and the first one that you ever got to see?
Oh yeah, I don't think there's any question, because my dad was still alive then, and he took Ryan, my son, so they spent time together. I just watched it up here. But yeah, the first one, just like LSU when they won the College World Series for the first time in '91. I mean, I remember watching all the great Texas teams and the Wichita States and the Arizona States thinking, wouldn't have had the outdoor fence and the Marlboro man going, man, I just want LSU to go to the College World Series. And when they won it in '91, for me, that was it. It's like LSU in '81 going to the Final Four. No matter how many more Final Fours LSU goes to, hopefully down the road, but '81 will always be special. And it's just like the Saints, like them winning Super Bowl 44. Sure, as a fan of any team, you want them to win multiple titles. But no matter, how can you ever top winning the NFC Championship game in the fashion they did against Brett Favre and going to the Super Bowl? Like, I had season tickets up to then, but I'm done. I'm good, man, because nothing can ever replace that. Nothing's going to ever surpass making it to the Super Bowl in your home stadium, which you and I both know they should have done it again in 18.
Yeah. That was going to be my question, man. It's like if they do put it together and have another great run and they go on to win another one, how would it compare to what we all got to watch 13 years ago today?
It would be nice. Well, it would be great, but I can't see anything topping it, Matt. I mean, unless they played a Super Bowl in New Orleans and it was a great AFC team that came in with one loss or, whatever. But it's kind of hard to top any time it's the first.
I know, man.
It's like anything in life, man. You always remember that first time. It's always going to be special.
It's like the only way, Big C, it would have to be like with LSU, man, Burrow in 19 would have to be something so extraordinary like that that lets it stand alone differently from, breaking through and doing it for the first time, man.
But, hey, Scott, I don't have to tell you this, but, man, just being so blessed, how many LSU fans, from 58 to 2003 never got that shot? They came and gone. How many Saints fans from 67, to 2009? They went all those years and never got a chance. And, man, for us people as old as we're getting now, and to be allowed to say, man, I've seen LSU win 6 titles in baseball. I've seen them go to the Final Four a couple of times. What the women are doing now, it's only a matter of time before Kim Mulkey wins it. We see the Saints win the Super Bowl. I mean, we've been blessed, man, because a lot of great people have come and gone and not get to experience so many great moments we have.
And you are old, Rich. I mean, let's not get it twisted. When you said when people like us are getting old, we're talking about people like you, right? You're the old guy, not me.
It's all relative. Bring any 62-year-old dude. I'm ready.
Big C, I'm still the same. I'm still the same dude with the curly hair back from Rock 93.7 in 2003. Haven't aged a bit.
Thanks, Scott. It's always a pleasure, brother. You take care.
All right, Big C. We'll see you.
Yeah.
That's Richard Condon, the one and only, the incomparable, the truly incomparable Richard Condon. So Condon was at my folks' house. Me, my parents, Richard Condon, his son Ryan, all watched Super Bowl 44 together 13 years ago today when the Saints beat the Colts. So I wanted to get him on. I've really been enjoying reading some of your comments on Twitter. So thanks for those of you sending them. You can text us as well. And the 225-396-4400, 396-4400. There's some that are really great. Joshua Hinson said, I was watching my dad downstairs in the living room after the interception. He said, I turned to him and said, guess hell really did freeze over. Ashari tweeted, my dad, who was a huge fan, died in 2008. Immediately fell into my mom's arms crying at my uncle's house in Central. Called my boss, told him I was going to be late. Drove from Baton Rouge to New Orleans all night. Felt love. I think he left a word out there. But anyway, you're seeing so much of that. I think people who were very emotional. I think this is the best one I've seen so far. It's from Richard Lee Pinney, who said, how about this story? He said, I was at the game. My mama bought us tickets. Unfortunately, she died 2 days before we left. So I took her picture with me and sat it on the seat she purchased. That's pretty cool. I mean, my inclination would be, man, bring another family member, let someone use that ticket, but brought his mama with him. So really cool. I mean, that's the kind of thing, man. Whenever, I think as Richard really appropriately said it, when if you're a Saints fan, you waited your whole life to see something like that. Nobody ever thought, you never thought you'd see it. It's so, our whole mindset, the whole culture has changed where that becomes an expectation now. And it's because of that. So it's the same that LSU football fans have experienced as well. If you go back pre-2003, there's 2 generations of LSU fans that never thought a national championship was possible. Now you win 10 games and you're wondering, you go to the SEC championship, you win 10 games, you're going, man, what's wrong with this team? How do they get better? Is this really the quarterback you want? It's just we're spoiled. But I would always rather have that burden of expectation because it beats the hell out of the alternative of always coming up short. What a day. Salute to all the Super Bowl champs from 2009 season, Super Bowl 44 New Orleans Saints. All right, it's after further review. Man, glad to have you hanging out with us here. Been a really fun show. We're going to knock out a quick break. We'll come back. Larry Holder, bottom of this hour. Larry was covering that Super Bowl. We'll talk to him about it at the bottom of this hour. Also, of course, now covers the NFL for The Athletic. We'll talk a lot of NFC South for 2023. When we come back, LSU was targeting a big-time offensive lineman from the U. He's made his choice. We're going to talk about it next. AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Darren James and Associates, powered by eXp Realty. Every home listed by every company, all in one place. You know where to find them. Agent225.com. Agent225.com. Love sharing raving reviews and raving fans from Darren James, but the bottom line is you don't have to go far to find those. Just talk to anyone that's ever listed a home with Darren James, and you're going to hear the same story. He was always accessible. He never made me feel like I was a burden. The guy worked tirelessly. He got our home sold fast. That's what it's like working with Darren James. That's why he's on the Wall Street Journal's list of the top 1% of realtors in America. 335-7666, 335-7666. That's Darren's cell. You can call him right now. You can text him right now. Just say, hey, is this really Darren's cell? It is, 225-335-7666, 335-7666 or agent225.com. Buying or selling. Think real estate. Think Darren James. Agent225.com.
Think real estate. Think Darren James.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Saturday, February 25th, 7 p.m. The Bulls, Bands, and Barrels Tour at the Lamar Dixon Expo Center. Presented by Jerry Lane Chevrolet. Edge of your seat excitement with bull riding, barrel racing, ultimate bullfighting. With a live performance by Bailey Zimmerman.
Rockin' a hard place.
With Timothy Wayne, plus 2-time PBR world champion Chris Shivers, and Brinson James, the entertainer. Tickets and information at bullsbandsandbarrels.com. Saturday, February 25th, Lamar Dixon Expo Center at 7 p.m. Presented by Jerry Lane Chevrolet, the #1 Chevrolet dealer in Louisiana.
I had to leave my parents. I had to move schools. I don't know anyone here. Everything keeps changing. Why is this happening to me? I'm sure glad you're here.
Change a child's story. There's a child in foster care waiting for a volunteer like you.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside off the bench, anytime. Hunt Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
Moon Griffon is back. The voice of Louisiana politics makes his return to Baton Rouge. Catch the Moon Griffon Show weekdays from 9 to 11 a.m. on
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Come out to Rouse's in Denham Springs this Friday as we broadcast live starting at 1 p.m. with Hunt Palmer, and then after further review with Matt Moscona at 3 p.m. Come meet former LSU Tiger and 2-time World Series champion Alex Bregman as he debuts a new product from his Breggy Bomb lineup exclusively at Rouse's. Plus, make Rouse's your one stop for all your big game party needs. It all starts this Friday at 1 p.m. live from the Rouse's in Denham Springs and on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
That's going to be a gas. That's what the kids say these days, isn't it?
No.
That's not.
The kids do not say that.
They don't?
No.
They don't say it's going to be a gas?
Nobody
I thought
said-
everything that was a thing always becomes a thing again. Like platform shoes and bell bottoms.
Yeah, I mean...
And men wearing a mustache.
I think eventually it does, but I don't think it's going to be a gas has made its way back around yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
You let me know when it does.
Okay.
Please let me know. It's going to be a bitchin' good time.
No, I don't. Yeah, I don't think that's really back either yet. Was that ever a thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's going to be rad.
Man, that should be back, but it's not yet. Rad's a great word.
Radical. Rad. One year for Father's Day, Erica got me a shirt. She always makes me and Drew match. Paul, have you done this yet? Do you and Opal ever match?
We have not.
Do Sam and Opal ever match?
Not that I could think of. No.
Okay. Erica's big on matching. So every year for Father's Day, but mind you, it's Father's Day. My day. The one day that I get. Right? The one day. It's mine. And she basically determines what I wear, which I don't care. But we always have some type of shirt that matches. And one year, we had matching shirts. They were white with like the fluorescent kind of blue. That was very popular, like 90s. Everything was fluorescent then. And Drew's shirt said, "My dad is rad." And mine said, "Rad Dad."
So good. I love that. That's awesome.
My sisters-in-law mocked me mercilessly.
As they should.
And they still do to this day.
As they should.
But in Forgetting Sarah Marshall, where like he always wears the bad clothes, I'm that guy in that instance. You pick your battles, and that's one I'm not willing to fight. I'll wear the Rad Dad shirt. So anyway, because we said rad. Friday's going to be a lot of fun. Bregman will be out at Rouse's. We'll be doing the show there from Rouse's in Denham, so come on out. I believe his scheduled time is 2 to 5, but I was talking to the Rouse's folks. Rouse's has donated food for 500. Like, they're giving tons of meat that'll feed 500 people. And the Breggy Bomb people are going to be there. Like, Breggy Bomb has this whole, like, cook team that they go enter cooking competitions, and they use all the Breggy Bomb products. So they're coming, and they're cooking for, like, 500 people. So come out, get some free food, meet Bregman. Hunt will do his show from 1 to 3. We'll do AFR 3 to 6, and it'll be a really good time. So coming out to this Friday, Rouse's in Denham. We'll see you there. By the way, Muse, give us an update. I know you dropped an episode today of Miuso at the box. So what's in it there?
Yeah, man. So recapped scrimmages from the weekend. I was out there Saturday, Sunday, went through a lot of the notes I had from that, and touched on the consensus number 1 ranking, really kind of for the first time, just diving into that and expectation. Didn't want to go too deep into it because, next week we'll start daily episodes with game week, and that'll, obviously come up again. But it's just, the same thing you always get with the number 1 rankings. Oh, you want to be number 1 at the end of the season. You want to be number 1 whenever they're going to give it to you, because that means a lot. And right now it means you have the best team on paper, and that's important, and you've seen it go both ways, right? You're number 1 in 97, and you want it all. You're number 1 in 09, you want it all. You're number 1 in 2019, you fell on your face 8 games into the season. But it goes both ways, and you've seen it go both ways. You take the honor whenever you can get it. But kind of a little bit of what we talked about yesterday, a lot of pitching and offense in that in the episode today, just from the scrimmage recaps.
It's Musso at the Box. However you get your podcast, make sure you're subscribed up. So next week you're starting daily?
Monday starts daily.
Monday starts daily episodes, Musso at the Box. What a season. If there's ever a season to jump on board, feast on the content, part of the Guarantee Podcast Network, Musso at the Box. And Mario does the Flock Up podcast for the Pels. I host LSU Daily. So if you're into the podcast space, make sure you're subscribed up to all the pods. Of course, T-Bob and I do Scone and Tea, which you can catch Wednesdays live from Oliver Twist. Tons of content. You want local sports content? Of course, we've got our full slate of live daily shows. We got a great podcast as well. So make sure you're subscribed up to Musso at the Box. So coming out of the signing period, we talked about the LSU roster and how they addressed positions of need. And some were very obvious, like they had to go get defensive backs. They did that in the early signing period. They had to go get a linebacker, especially after Baskerville, Mike Jones went pro, DeMario Tolan transferred to Auburn. They had to get an inside linebacker. And they did. Omar Spates, team captain, 3-year starter from Oregon State. You check that box. The one spot where, this is what I've been asked the most, is there anywhere else where they need transfers potentially? And what I was told before the season even ended was, look, they were going to look for a speedy deep threat wide receiver. They got that in Aaron Anderson. They knew they were going to have to address the secondary. They did that. They knew they were going to have to get defensive linemen. They did that. They also felt like they were going to lose some of their veteran offensive linemen. And they were going to have to reestablish some depth there, so to look in the portal. And we saw that happen, right? You saw a handful of offensive linemen, Xavier Hill, Marcus Dumerville, Cam Wire, Cardell Thomas. You saw a handful of veteran offensive linemen transfer out, which you understand. They're going to find a place where they can play. They've been here 3-4 years, and if you haven't cracked the rotation, when you're returning 6 guys that all can play, it's going to be tough to get in the mix. So, but you knew they were going to be looking for guys maybe with a little veteran experience on the offensive line, and one of the ones they offered was Ja'Kai Clark. Ja'Kai Clark was the center from the University of Miami who started 39 of the last 42 games at the U. So a veteran, experienced center who's got 1 year of eligibility remaining, and the thought was bring him in, push Charles Turner, maybe you upgrade at that spot. If you're not getting better, you're getting worse. So even though you return your starter, if you can bring in a guy that started 39 games at that spot at a Power 5 school and has been really good, bring him in, improve that position. Well, Ja'Kai Clark last week took a visit to SMU, and now he has committed to SMU. I'm going to tell y'all, if this were not an NIL world, this would be bizarre. Because Ja'Kai Clark played at the U. He was at a Power 5 school, started 39 games, certainly could have gone back and played another season at Miami, and had no shortage of Power 5 offers in the transfer portal. Like, just go look at his feed. It'll show you. West Virginia, LSU, we mentioned SMU. Staying at Miami was always a possibility for him as well. But he picked SMU. And initially my mind went right to, and by the way, if you're wondering, he's from Georgia. So it's not like he's from Dallas and is going to be closer to home. He's from Georgia. So he's going farther away from home. My mind immediately went to the SMU Collective. And we did this story several months back. I believe it was On 3 that ranked the collectives. The top 25 collectives as of, right now, a year in. And SMU was high on the list. And it was surprising because you wouldn't expect to see a G5 school there. But SMU was there, and one of the things that we learned was that Collective committed $36,000 per year per player for football and men's basketball. It was 100 athletes. It was actually more than 100 athletes. And so it was it was 85 scholarship football players. It ended up being like $3.5 million that they committed. So that I looked at it and went, oh, well, he's going there for the NIL opportunity. But it's so bizarre because Miami and John Ruiz are spending money unlike anybody else. So certainly if it came down to $36,000, you could afford it. LSU has its collective organized. To get a player $36,000 would be relatively marginal if that's what you needed to get a player of that ilk. So you really wonder, why did he land at SMU? And my understanding is, and it just sort of is very obvious, that SMU came heavy with an NIL offer. Because there's no other reason that makes sense. He could have been a starting player at a place in the Power 5 where he would have had NIL opportunities as well. And clearly, he could have come to LSU where he potentially could have competed for a national championship. So it doesn't make a lot of sense, except for to connect the dots that he's going to have a major NIL opportunity. We'll see if that ever comes to light, what the terms of that may be. But I will be interested to see what it is if it happens that way. And I can't help but think, and I'm never, ever going to judge a player, a student athlete, for the decision they make. If let's say this kid got a huge guaranteed sum from SMU and said, I'm taking it, I don't blame you. Everybody's situation is different, and in some instances, that is a short-term vision. I mean, there's reason to believe, hey, why not, if you're Ja'Kai Clark, why not go to LSU, play on the highest level, dominate for a year, and maybe become a top 50, maybe even a first-round draft pick? Don't know. Go against the best and have a chance to win a championship. and maybe potentially see a long-term payoff as opposed to the short-term benefit of an NIL deal, the highest dollar amount in NIL. But the thing that is worth pointing out again, the transfer portal will giveth, and the transfer portal will taketh away. You're going to win some, and LSU this year had the number one transfer portal class in the country. The last year, the 2022 season, and what we are expecting LSU to be in 2023, in large part will be thanks to the success that Brian Kelly and his staff had in the transfer portal. So it's hard to look at losing a player like DeMario Tolan or missing out on a potential transfer in Ja'Kai Clark because of transfer portal opportunities, when those opportunities are why you've been able to build your roster so successfully in such a short period of time. So let's keep an eye on LSU to see if they keep targeting offensive linemen. Because as we've said, your first 6, you feel pretty good about. But after those first 6, you have no experience at all. None. It's freshmen and guys that redshirted last year. So can they supplement with some experienced guys in that room? That's worth watching between now and fall. All right, it's After Further Review, brought to you by Relief Windows, reliefwindows.com. Energy-efficient replacement windows, beautiful entry doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. They do it all at Relief Windows. They do it better than anyone else, so check them out at reliefwindows.com. Reliefwindows.com, or go see the Relief Windows showroom on Airline Highway in Prairieville. If you go south on Airline Highway, you pass Highway 44, look to the right about a quarter mile. You can't miss it. It's Relief Windows. They always have an associate there, someone ready to help you out every single weekday, Monday to Friday, 9 to 5 at Relief Windows and online at reliefwindows.com. Windows, door, siding, Relief Windows, and reliefwindows.com. All right, we're going to get to Otter Locks here in about 15 minutes from right now. When we come back, Uncle Larry will join us. Larry Holder, NFL writer for The Athletic. We'll talk some NFC South next. It's AFR.
AFR.
Hey, look, y'all, the weather, you can almost tell spring is in the air. I mean, today the high was 77. Tomorrow the high will bump north of 80. Look, you know we're going to see a few cold snaps. It always happens through February and March. Those first few weekends out at the at Alec Box Stadium, that wind coming off the river, call it the ice box for no reason. But spring is almost here, and it's a great time to just plant something, and that's where Clegg's Nursery comes in. They have shipments arriving almost daily over at Clegg's Nursery. So maybe you even went a few weeks ago. Go back. See what they have now. Flowers and plants and trees and shrubs and bedding plants that are perfect for this time of year, that love some of the cool weather before it gets really hot. When we start talking about summertime, this is the perfect time to plant flowers and trees, or trees and shrubs. And let me remind you, as spring starts to spring, if you have weeds in your lawn, they have the weed cocktail for your lawn as well. So go by Clegg's and ask about it. Buy local, shop local today at Clegg's Nursery.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Start your day with news and newsmakers. Start your day with traffic, weather, and local stories that are important to you. Kickstart your day every day. Mornings with Brian Haldane from 6 to 9 a.m. Weekdays on Talk 107.3.
Bayou Ford has $4,000 off MSRP plus $1,000 Ford credit cash on new 22 Ford F-150 XLT trucks. That's $5,000 off plus 0% financing. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Saturday, February 25th, 7 p.m. The Bulls Bands and Barrels Tour at the Lamar Dixon Expo Center. Presented by Jerry Lane Chevrolet. Edge of your seat excitement with bull riding, barrel racing, ultimate bullfighting. With a live performance by Bailey Zimmerman. With Timothy Wayne, plus two-time PBR world champion Chris Shivers, and Brinson James, the entertainer. Tickets and information at bullsbandsandbarrels.com. Saturday, February 25th, Lamar Dixon Expo Center at 7 p.m. Presented by Jerry Lane Chevrolet, the #1 Chevrolet dealer in Louisiana.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Hey, long time. Uncle Larry, Larry Holder from The Athletic, good enough to join us. How are you, dude?
I mean, dude, it hasn't been that long. I mean, obviously, look, you play some of the openers. It's like Shaq and then my son. So
that's true.
Look, we're there.
Can you hit it, Muse?
You're a loser, Matt!
Yeah, that is Larry's heathen child yelling, "You're a loser, Matt." Obviously, I blame the parents, and but I really enjoy that drop every day when I get to hear it. Hey, are you offended when I say, "Shut up, kid"?
Never.
Good.
Because I don't tell my kids to shut up, but you're allowed to.
Good.
It's fair.
Good. Well, in fairness, I'm not even telling your kid to shut up. It's just for the sake of the bit. It's just it's not like I'm at your house telling your kid to shut up. You know what I mean?
You know, if you did that at my house, it might be a problem.
Yeah, it's why I would never do it. I would never disrespect someone in their home or talk to anyone's child like that. But for the sake of the show in this dominion, I mean, if you're going to put that out to the interwebs, Larry, I mean, you take whatever feedback may come.
My friend, I've put enough out on the interwebs. It's just what it is. It's no problem at all.
Hey, what do you think about Sean Payton in Denver?
It's a thing where I feel like he goes there and you can tell that it's something that he wants to do, and yet it's not something that is secure. Like, here's the thing. It's not like the perfect situation, and when you go there and you do that, he's not in love, I feel like, with Russell Wilson. He knows he has to fix him, and that's probably part of the biggest problem.
I would have thought that might have been one of the reasons he'd want to go. What about Sean Payton sort of pillaging the Saints staff? How much of an effect might this have in New Orleans?
Well, I figured that he would be going after some of the guys that he kind of brought in. I figured that Ronald Curry would be part of that. I figured that Declan Doyle would be part of that. I'm wondering if Joe Lombardi's actually going to be part of that. But when you, in the sense that Zach Street is part of it, I was actually really surprised in that sense. Just because that Zach is like a New Orleans guy in terms of business, been here for a long time, and it kind of just goes to show you that Zach is really serious about being a coach. I think that's kind of the moral of the story in terms of that. I'm sorry that my voice is like raspy. I'm just kind of fighting some stuff, but yeah, it's the Zach stuff that actually kind of surprised me.
You know, I look at the NFC South for next year, and obviously everyone knows that you covered the Saints for a long time, but now you cover the whole NFL for the Athletic. I'm curious when you think we see the Kyle Trask era begin in Tampa.
Now, come on. I mean, it's going to happen. Who wants to be with Blaine Gabbert? He's also a free agent. So guess what? The only quarterback on a contract with Tampa is Kyle Trask, dude. I'm going to win this bet. It's like the most glorious thing I've ever seen in my life. As soon as I saw that, I was like, dude, I'm totally going to win this random $50 bottle of bourbon that I don't have any in the plaque in my house. So that's just what it's going to be. Yeah, no, you're like,
So
otherwise, I'm just going to go to Calandro's and be like, yo, what do I owe Moscona?
Yeah,
I'm just going to do it.
That's a good way to do it. So who do you think will be the quarterback for Tampa next year?
I mean, what? I don't have an answer to who's going to be the quarterback for Tampa, who's going to be the quarterback for the Saints, or who's going to be the quarterback for Carolina. The whole division is up for grabs. I mean, I know it's kind of a mishmash, but the fact that we're talking about like Desmond Ridder to be the only solidified quarterback in that division is like the saddest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Do you think?
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you think that Carolina will use a draft pick on a quarterback, or do you think they're sitting on Sam Darnold?
I don't think there's any way they're sitting on Sam Darnold. But where are they? Like people are talking about Anthony, Richardson as. I just don't buy him. I don't buy him as far as being like this top prospect from Florida. I don't buy it. Do you?
I see how people could fall in love with the ability and wondering if you can refine it. He's got the monster arm, the dynamic running ability. I mean, Lamar Jackson won an MVP. I mean, Anthony Richardson is a better athlete with a better arm than Lamar Jackson. So I can understand how people would fall in love with the athlete, and say, man, can we refine that? If you can, now you're cooking.
We've had plenty of players. I mean, Matt Ryan won MVP. I mean, just that. Cam Newton did too.
Yeah.
Drew Brees never won an MVP. I mean, come on. So let's
and both of those guys
both
those guys went to a Super Bowl.
Yeah, but
I mean, I understand what you're saying, but
they're not your. Yeah, but they weren't like your franchise winning quarterbacks. Like it doesn't. I just feel like when you bring it up, I feel like in my eyes, there's only one surefire quarterback in this class, and I feel like it is actually. And people are going to question me on this. I feel like it's Bryce Young.
I agree.
I feel like Will Levis. Look, he is prototypical. I get it. C.J. Stroud, highly productive, but have we seen like a quarterback from Ohio State like actually be a giant? Even though there's plenty enough Ohio State people who would like to claim Joe Burrow, but not going to happen. But still, look, it's something that, man, I'm not buying Richardson. I'm just not.
Okay. Well, this is actually 16 seconds old. So I'll let you react to this as we get out.
Okay, good. Oh, this ought to be great.
So our dear friend Nick Underhill just tweeted sources say Derek Carr has been granted permission to visit the Saints. So this is the first known suitor or visit for Derek Carr. So tip of the cap to Nick on the scoop there. What do you think? Derek Carr to New Orleans?
I actually thought about that last offseason, that could be an option. And so, look, Derek Carr had a rough season. I get that. And yet, in the same sense that I feel like Derek Carr is a top 12 quarterback in the NFL. I will say that. I feel like last season was a bit of an anomaly. New offense, didn't work out, and yet I feel like that he is better than any option that the Saints had. Now, here's the thing. Where do you go from there? Yeah. Do you want to trade for him? Do you want to absorb a contract?
No way.
I agree.
There's no shot.
No chance.
So
I agree.
You wait for the Raiders to cut him, and then you sign him. But the question is, will Derek Carr have enough suitors and have a better option than New Orleans?
But I do think that the fact that this is kind of going on, and you look at it in that sense, that I feel like that Carr to the Saints works.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I just feel like it doesn't matter. Like, you can figure out the money, and you don't have to trade away assets, and you have this sense where you're looking at salary and this, that, and the other. Like, you can figure that out. I feel like he is a quarterback who's a viable NFL quarterback. I would take him over half the league easily, and you figure it out. So I don't trade for him, though.
Yeah.
Do not absorb that contract. Figure it out afterwards.
He's Larry Holder of The Athletic on Twitter, at Larry Holder. Make sure you give him a follow. Before you go, man, there's so much. We're running out of time. There's so much ground I wanted to cover. I wanted to get you to tell the Dustin Diamond story from LSU. That came up randomly with me and Muso the other day. But maybe we'll do that off air.
Again?
Yeah, well, he hadn't heard it before. Larry, you got to keep in mind, not everybody listens to every minute of every show every day. So even though
we told this story over the air before.
You have, but
we've only been doing radio together for like 11 billion years.
I know, but I think you probably only told that story on air twice. So it feels like 11 billion times.
Twice?
On
Dude,
air,
yes!
On air, yes! Muso produces the show. He's never heard it.
Oh, my gosh. Well, get him up to speed. I mean, because literally, I didn't realize you were even in the audience until you told me this on the air.
Like 10 years ago. I know.
It might have been 5 years ago. It might have been 2 years ago. I don't know.
I was doing a remote at Pluckers, and it was when you were telling me about riding in your car that the spring would or you were sitting on a crate of tennis balls or something, a milk crate. I seem to remember, and you had bullet holes in your car.
I mean, you mishmashed a bunch of the story, but sure, that works.
It was something like that, wasn't it? It was close. You had a
My
crap.
whole life is a mishmash of a story, so it doesn't matter.
That's fair. Okay, I got to go. Thank you, as always, for the time. Have an awesome day. I hope you feel better.
Well, guess what? As my son would say, you're a loser, man!
Shut up, kid! All right, that's Larry Holder. It's after further review. We'll wrap up next.
AFR.
Is here to help you ring in the new year with no markups, and you'll never pay over MSRP. And we have new inventory arriving daily. So Happy New Year from our Corvell Toyota family to yours.
I had to leave my parents. I had to move schools. I don't know anyone here. Everything keeps changing. Why is this happening to me? I'm sure glad you're here.
Change a child's story. There's a child in foster care waiting for a volunteer like you.
I've got that blue sky. I've got that sunshine.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Saturday, February 25th, 7 p.m. The Bulls Bands and Barrels Tour at the Lamar Dixon Expo Center. Presented by Jerry Lane Chevrolet. Edge of your seat excitement with bull riding, barrel racing, ultimate bullfighting. With a live performance by Bailey Zimmerman. With Timothy Wayne. Plus two-time PBR world champion Chris Shivers. And Brinson James, the entertainer. Tickets and information at bullsbandsandbarrels.com. Saturday, February 25th. Lamar Dixon Expo Center at 7 p.m. Presented by Jerry Lane Chevrolet. The #1 Chevrolet dealer in Louisiana.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Down the stretch, we come final segment here on a Tuesday edition of AFR, presented by the Williamson Eye Center. 924-2020, 924-2020, or WilliamsonEye.com. I am a Williamson Eye Center patient, as is the one and only Oddfather, Jimmy Ott. So if you're a young man like me, virile and robust, and you need LASIK, call the Williamson Eye Center. If you're an old man like Jimmy Ott who needs a flashlight in order to see the menu at a restaurant, a dimly lit restaurant, you can call the Williamson Eye Center, and you can throw that flashlight away forever. Although I would not recommend doing that if the flashlight is on your phone, because you'll need said phone. But it's the Williamson Eye Center, 924-2020 or WilliamsonEye.com. Let us talk to the aforementioned Oddfather.
Otterlocks, presented by Lofton Staffing Services. At Lofton, we put people to work. Call us today at 924-0200 or go to lofton.jobs.
So we turn to the one and only incomparable, often incomprehensible, the Oddfather himself, Jimmy Ott. Otter, how are you?
Good, Matthew. Good. At the soccer game, it's the Max and Mike show tonight.
Let's go.
It goes 8th place.
Okay.
So Max and Gotro and Mike Delicano will be doing it from there. I'm at Episcopal watching Ethan play soccer, so you know.
You sound so fired up to be watching your son play soccer.
I'm fired up, man. I'm just it's like I can't tell which one's him. You know, I mean, if it goes in the net, that's a goal. That's a good thing. So, you know, I don't know what I'm watching. So, but we'll see.
Look, it's good exercise. All right, it's good. It's good cardio.
Yes, indeed.
All right. Well, we gave out the 5:30 tip. We gave out Rutgers. We have anything else tonight we're looking at?
Down 22-14, got a little ground to make up there. It's going to be all right. I got some more road dogs tonight. It's kind of a road dog night tonight. NC State, Virginia. Virginia got Duke Saturday. Virginia is just not. They're not quite as committed to their. You know, I think it comes from the coach. You know that he's trying to modernize the offense, but he's given up a little bit on his defense as well. Guys, a legend, man. Won a national championship there, the whole bit. But 7 points to NC State, little bit too much in a look-ahead spot. So going with the Wolfpack +7 at Charlottesville tonight.
Okay. All right. So Rutgers.
One more.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
One more. Where are they? You may have heard Sunday night during the Grammys that people were saying it's Izzo time. No, it's Lizzo. Well, there was a strange movement on the game between Michigan State and Maryland today, thinking it's Izzo time. No, Lizzo time. Izzo time's a little bit later, but we're going to take Maryland, the Terrapins, versus Izzo, Lizzo, the Sparties. We're taking Maryland +4. It's my best bet of the night.
All right, Maryland +4, NC State +7, and a bottomless margarita for the honor tonight. We appreciate the time. Whatever you got to do to get through that soccer match, enjoy it, Otter.
Gracias.
He is just the freaking best. Game Time with Jimmy Ott follows us if you're not in Baton Rouge online at 1045ESPN.com or the Game Time with Jimmy Ott Facebook page. Views, Paulie, thanks. Y'all have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow at 3. Adios.
AFR.
All right, we're brought to you by Shawbills. ShawBillsTire.com, home of the Charlie's Dozen. That's a dozen benefits extended to your vehicle when you buy your tires at Shawbills. But wait, there's more. Not just your vehicle, every vehicle in your household, even if you didn't buy their tires at Shawbills. They treat you like family. Shawbills has been around for more than 50 years now. Remember, when you buy tires at Shawbills, free tire repairs, free balancing, free tire rotations for the life of the tires. They just treat you like family and keep you coming back year after year after year. That's what Shawbills does because it's just the right thing to do. They treat people great. They treat their employees great. If you're looking for a job, they're hiring as well. And the newest location is coming in Laplace. 17 locations. Number 18 in Laplace is coming soon. Can't wait to tell you about that one when the doors open and the grand opening happens. That's at Shawbills Tire and Auto Service online at ShawBillsTire.com. Shawbills, we keep you rolling.
I had to leave my parents. I had to move schools. I don't know anyone here. Everything keeps changing. Why is this happening to me? I'm sure glad you're here.
Change a child's story. There's a child in foster care waiting for a volunteer like you.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.